Channel 22, WEZF-TV, Burlington.
Today, live from Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, the fight for the lead in the Eastern Division of the National League continues between the Philadelphia Phillies and the Montreal Expos. The teams have split the first two games of this three-game series. The standings you see, Phillies lead the Expos by a half game, and the Phils have a one-game edge in the loss column. In the opening game Friday night of this series, the Phillies won 2-1. Bake McBride, a home run in the bottom of the ninth inning off Dave Palmer. And the Phillies celebrated a division lead of 1.5 games. McBride leading the ball club in game-winning hits, and Tug McGraw got the win, jumped up and down over it. But yesterday afternoon, the Expos beat the Phillies 4-3 and beat the Phillies' ace Steve Carlton. Veteran Woody Fryman in relief struck out pinch hitter Lonnie Smith for the win and set up today's game as one of the big ones of the season. ABC's Sunday afternoon baseball. A big ball game from Philadelphia between the Expos and the Phillies. And this ABC Sports Exclusive is brought to you by the Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. By Chevrolet and your Chevy dealer with Chevette, Monza, Citation, and the new Monte Carlo. Chevy's up ahead for 1981. By Pepsi-Cola and your local Pepsi-Cola bottler who invite you to catch that Pepsi spirit. And by Gillette Track 2. To guys who use the twin-blade Gillette Track 2, no other blade will do. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Keith Jackson along with Don Drysdale for this afternoon's ball game in Philadelphia. And Don, on paper, the difference between a half a game and a game and a half doesn't appear to be all that much. But, oh, in real life, this time of the year, it can be so big.
Well, that is so true, Keith. And right now, the Montreal Expos are hoping that when they go back to Montreal, that they're going to be a half a game in front. We all know that you cannot win a pennant or a division title by one half game. Montreal, they have, including today's game, 7 games remaining to Philadelphia's 8. Philadelphia has the Cubs in for 4, while the Montreal Expos are hosting the St. Louis Cardinals in Montreal. That's where the extra game will be made up, right here in Philadelphia, and then it's head-to-head next weekend.
Should be exciting. The pitchers for this afternoon's ball game for Montreal. It'll be the veteran Steve Rogers. Lifetime against Philadelphia, he's dead even. And pitching this afternoon for the Philadelphia Phillies will be young Bob Walk. His record is 10-6.
What I know about my car could fit in the glove compartment. I just want someone to work on it I can trust.
My mechanics and I are professionals. We take pride in our work, and that builds trust.
I've always figured the best mechanics use quality parts.
If a part fails, it's my reputation that's damaged. So I use Napa brand parts. Lots of them are better than original parts.
For quality parts you can trust, look for the Napa sign. When the name is Napa, the standard is quality.
JCPenney's Plain Pockets corduroy jeans are a great buy at $13.50. But now, for a limited time only, our sale makes them an incredible buy at 20% off. They come in lots of terrific colors with the same kind of styling and fit as the best-selling corduroys, but for only $10.80 a pair. So hurry over right now and pocket an extra $2.70. JCPenney's Plain Pockets corduroys. At 20% off, they're just plain fantastic. Plain Pocket shirts also on sale.
Everybody's doing it.
Everybody's doing the ham and cheese. The sensational sandwiches from 7-Eleven.
Everybody's doing it.
Yeah, 7-Eleven's got 2 of them. The large ham and cheese that's hot, the small one that's not. One's hot, one's not.
Ham and cheese at 7-Eleven.
Everybody's doing the ham and cheese, the good time sandwiches at 7-Eleven.
Oh, thank heaven.
Steve Garvey cares about our youth. Steve helps the Children's Village of California in his fight against child abuse.
Dave Winfield cares about our youth. His Winfield Pavilions give kids a chance to catch baseball fever.
Willie Stargell cares about our youth. Willie raises millions of dollars in his fight against sickle cell anemia.
Baseball cares.
The preceding was brought to you on behalf of Major League Baseball.
There will be plenty of speed at the top of the Montreal batting order. Jerry White, left field, leading off 265. Rodney Scott with 61 stolen bases at second base. Hitting second, Roland Office is in number 3 position at 273 in right field. Now the muscle, Andre Dawson, 302 average in center field. Gary Carter, the catcher, has 27 home runs. And Warren Cromartie has 14 home runs with a 296 average. Larry Parrish in a September slump at 255. Chris Spire's been hitting well of late at shortstop. And Steve Rogers on the mound with a 162 batting average.
Well, there's the defense for the Philadelphia Phillies. A veteran, Pete Rose, is at first base. Moving to second base, Manny Trio having a fine year and great acquisition for Philadelphia. The shortstop, the veteran Larry Boa. They've got a veteran infield and outfield. And moving on around and going over to third base, Mike Schmidt having probably the best season of his career. In left field, the Bull, Greg Luzinski. A lot of talk about the leather that he's been putting out there this year. There's the center fielder, Gary Maddox. Covers all kinds of ground. And moving over to right field, that is Bake McBride. McBride winning the opening night game with a home run, as you heard Keith mention that. Bob Boone will do the catching this afternoon. And right-hander Bob Walk. His record, you see, 10 wins, 6 losses. He hasn't been pitching that well as late. He's 1-4 with 3 no decisions since August 16th.
He's a 23-year-old rookie who came up from Oklahoma City at the end of May when Larry Christensen had his elbow trouble. Since then, he's been the number 3 man in the rotation behind Steve Carlton and Dick Ruthven. It is a ball game where the 2 men who occupy the center of the diamond will be very important this afternoon. No question about that.
Well, that's certainly true. You see the crowd here as you move around Veterans Stadium. The umpires, Lee Wire behind the plate. Glad to see him back after his illness. Eric Gregg at first, Dutch Rennert at second, and Harry Windelstadt is over at third. But when you talk about the 2 men in the middle of the mound, and that's going to be something to watch as this game starts out very quickly, because we've got shadows to contend with around home plate because of this starting time. They'll continue to move right on out towards the pitcher's mound, and that's awful tough. You don't see a lot of hitters that really appreciate that one factor right there, Keith. There you can see the shadow. Bob Boone just about moving into the shadows. When that ball starts coming out of the daylight and then trickling on through the shadows, it makes it awfully tough to hit. It really would surprise me if this would be the type of game that would get out of hand. Opening night, great ball game. Phillies won it 2-1. Another great ball game yesterday, 4-3. And each club, each manager, and every player, they're just going along and they're gearing themselves up. You play one game at a time, and that's all.
Bob Walk faced the Expos once this season, pitched 8 innings, 4-hitter. Against them, June 25, he left without having allowed an earned run. That's the only game this season in which Walk has not permitted an earned run. The Phillies went on to win the ball game in 10 innings, but Walk did not get the decision. It's 3:30 down each line, 371 left and right, 408 dead center. The sky is very bright. The sun is very warm. It's a lovely afternoon in Philadelphia, and here's the first pitch of the ball game to Jerry White, hitting 265 with 17 runs batted in and 5 home runs. Top of the order, as I mentioned, is loaded with speed for Montreal. White, Scott, and Office. Fastball is popped in there for a strike.
Walk's a big guy. He's a 6'3", 200-pounder, born in Van Nuys, California. Now makes his home out of Newhall. He's got a good live fastball.
He comes high to make the count 2-1. Fouled away, and the count is 2-2.
Well, we talked about the fastball and the velocity down with a jugs gun. They have that last fastball timed at 94 miles an hour, and that's bringing it pretty good.
Say so. That's fouled away. Ordinarily, given good health, Ron LaFleur would be in this spot, but he's got a broken wrist. You can see that Walker's had some troubles getting started this year. As a matter of fact, so has Steve Rogers. Early going has been his problem. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not the two right-handers can get themselves organized early in the ball game. If they do, it could be another white knuckler. Strike 3 call. Slider caught the inside corner. White's out looking.
There's a good breaking pitch by Walk. The hitter, Jerry White, is not too happy with the call as he gives Lee Wire a little bit of his opinion, but it is right there. He makes a very, very good pitch.
Rodney Scott now, second baseman for the Expos, coming to the plate, and Scott, with LaFleur laid up, is the biggest offensive threat on the bases. He's stolen 61 times, been caught 12 times this season. He is so quick and so good with the leather at second base that you give away some offense in order to have him in the lineup. But once you get him on base, then he becomes a prime offensive tool.
Well, he's going to take a look at Pete Rose, that little bluff bunt attempt, and Rose still is playing back at first.
Well, at 95 miles an hour, Pete probably doesn't think he can reach him.
Now, there you take a look at Rose. He's back. Trio's back. Schmidt is even with a bag at third.
Count now is 2-1, and they give him a huge hole in right center field.
And the big thing, you can see that the Expos, when they've had their meeting there, you look at the hole in right center field. McBride moving off the line and right, trying to keep it closed a little bit. But they're going to make this guy throw strikes.
A count of 3-1. 3-2. I tell you, his slider looks lethal, doesn't it?
He's got a good breaking pitch. I think the big thing that he has to just worry about, and that's throwing strikes.
On the ground, shortstop rolls right through Boa. Error.
Well, Larry had a little trouble the other night moving on a ball to his right, trying to move over and backhand it in the hole. Didn't get a glove on it there. This ball coming off the bat of the left-hander now is squirting a little bit on Larry. You can see there, see it just kind of spin around, and it's kind of got a little bit of a reverse spin. Comes off his glove, and he just doesn't make any play.
That's his 17th error for the year, unlike Boa.
No, he doesn't make too many.
They play on the rug here at Vet Stadium in Philadelphia. So the speedster is on first base, and he will occupy some of the attention of Bob Walk with Roland Office, another left-handed batter at the plate, hitting .273.
The Montreal Expos hurting a little bit. They've lost LaFleur with that bad wrist. Of course, they can use him as a pinch runner.
I think right in this spot in the lineup, too, they miss Ellis Valentine.
And I was going to say, Ellis Valentine is back in Montreal. He's had a bad left wrist.
Once you see that base runner get 1 foot on the carpet, once he's able to move out of the dirt and hook his spikes on the rug, he is in position to go. He has a big enough lead with his speed, and he's very quickly out there with a half a stride on the rug. Now bounces off of it, and the pitch is ball one. Scott is aboard on Boa's error after White struck out looking. Scott has a rather decent lead at first base as the count goes to 2 balls and no strikes on Roland Office with Andre Dawson, who has the highest average in the Montreal lineup today, standing in the on-deck circle. Scott goes, and no, he's in there. Oh, he got a big jump.
Well, you've got that high leg kick, and that's what Walk has, and I don't care if it's Bob Walker or any pitcher, especially a right-hand pitcher. When you give that high leg kick and you got a man on first base that has any kind of speed whatsoever, as you take a look, there's the high leg kick, and look at the jump that the runner at first, Rodney Scott, has before Boone ever has a chance to get the ball. Now, Boone got rid of the ball in a hurry, made an excellent throw, but he just has no chance whatsoever. And Scott has it stolen.
Scott made a little mistake there, though. It cost himself just that fraction of a second as he took a look.
That's right. You're going to be stealing while you don't necessarily have to take a look.
Now he's at the far turn, and Walk hits the strike zone with his breaking pitch to make the count 3-1. or when you got that kind of speed.
Oh, what a luxury.
Office fouls it away, and it's full at 3-2. That sun's going to be a bit of a problem for a while, especially for the infielders on a high pop-up right up into it.
It's going to be trouble on the right side, Keith, for the Manny Trio little humpback liners that saw him yesterday in the game. He missed a little humpbacker. He got right out in the sun and just went off his glove. The sun field is right field now, and it's going to give Bake McBride a little problem out there, too.
That's foul back here.
Well, we hope Charles Bronfman is all right. He was out here on Friday night, the owner of the Montreal Expos, and he had a back spasm and had to go back up to Montreal. But he saw them lose that time. And then, of course, yesterday, I'm sure in the friendly confines of his living room or bedroom, wherever he might be, why he saw a win.
Inside. And Roland Office gets a free pass to first base, and that brings up a 3-0-2 hitter, Andre Dawson.
Here's a guy right here I think is a catalyst for this ball club. He's a good, sound player. Everything is business, and he's having a fine year, hitting .302, 15 home runs, 80 RBIs. I think he makes this ball club tick. 10-game hitting streak on the line for him, too.
Here go the runners, and the throw to second base. He's out at second. There was no chance on Scott over at third. Right-handed batter up there. Boone couldn't even see third base, but he shot him down at second.
Well, here's a play where Office just was not alert, because he has to know Scott is going to go if he gets a chance. The throw was on the first base side of the bag. The second base umpire, Dutch Rennert, right there. The tag was high, but he made the tag before he got to the bag. But Office was not paying attention to the runner at second base. He got a very bad break at first and a great heads-up play by Boone.
And the pitch is outside. The count is now 1 ball and 1 strike with 2 out, and Rod Scott over at third.
They had third base stolen.
Yep,
that
in
is
the pocket. Hit on the ground to Boa. Gets a hop and whips it to first. And the Expos lead. Rodney Scott at third in the top half of the first inning. No score with the Phillies coming up.
Got a long day's work behind me.
That's it. Let's take them home.
Good times on my mind. And a setting sun to remind me I'm going back to a place called Miller Time. If you've got the time.
Time for the best tasting beer you can find.
We've got the beer.
America's quality beer since 1855.
Miller tastes too good to hurry through.
Miller High Life.
When it's time to relax.
It's real nice to have you here. Real nice.
One beer stands clear. If you've got time, we've got the beer.
The Phillies batting order. First baseman Pete Rose leads off at 279. Bake McBride playing right field will hit in the number 2 position. Mike Schmidt, who has 44 home runs, is batting third. Greg Luzinski is in left field hitting in the cleanup spot. Manny Trio is batting 5th with 7 homers. Gary Maddox in center field. Gary hitting 259. Larry Boa the shortstop. Larry at 264. Bob Boone is the catching. Booney at 229. Bob Walk pitching. Now the defense.
Now there you take a good look at from first to third. You got Cromartie, Scott, Spire, and Paris. The outfield from left to right. Jerry White, Dawson in Office, and the battery of Carter and Rogers. And here's going to be another power pitcher in Steve Rogers. Rogers 13-13 lifetime against Philadelphia. He is 1-2 this year. And overall on the year you see his totals of 15 wins, 11 losses, and a fine 2.95 ERA. He had a good start in his last start. Pitched a 3 or 4 hitter.
Pete Rose coming to the plate now. Before the ball game today, Don talked to Pete, talked to him about the key the rest of the way.
I think today's game is awfully important. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game today simply because it's going to be tough to see after about the third inning, especially a bright day like it is today. But the key is just consistency, and the team who plays the most consistent, the team's going to win it. We got 4 more games at home with the Cubs at today's game. Those are important games because the Cardinals will be playing Montreal. But I think you have to, every game is a key, and you just got to play consistent.
All right, Rose is in at 279. And the first pitch to him is ball 1. Big problem for Steve Rogers has consistently been this year. Early innings. Rose hits it to center field. Andre Dawson got fooled a little bit. It sort of sailed on him, and he had to reach up.
It did. It took off a little bit, and Dawson right now checking the sunglasses and also checking the position of the sun very quickly. Right field is probably the worst of the sun field, although center field will fall right in behind that.
Big McBride is in his most productive season ever. 82 runs batted in. He leads this club in game-winning runs batted in. As a matter of fact, swings and misses. He was almost traded in the off-season. Texas and San Diego both talked about him, but he stayed, and I'm sure the Philly leadership is very pleased about that. I'll tell you how close he was to being traded. He wasn't included in the highlight film.
Uh-oh.
That's a tip-off.
That'll tell you something.
24 hits in his last 65 at-bats. His home run won the ball game 2-1 on Friday night. That's foul back, and the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 out.
Well, we talked about Bob Walk's fastball, 94, 95 miles an hour. That one thrown by Steve Rogers, 92 miles an hour. So we've got some guys, they can rush it up there in a hurry.
That's fouled off the handle of the bat. Out of play.
There's a good shot. You can see how the sun will affect around home plate in the shadows as McBride moves out towards the front part of the batter's box. You see the sun shining off the top of his batting helmet just about the entire circle at home plate. There's a good shot from our upstairs camera. Rogers is really what you'd call a power pitcher. I was talking to Norm Sherry before the game, and he said if he throws something off speed, it's by mistake. He just doesn't have a changeup.
That's out to left field, Jerry White. 2 down. Dallas Green, the manager of the Phillies. There have been a couple of times this year when he has been the orator. I think reading the riot act is one way you could properly describe a couple of the clubhouse meetings.
Well, I had a chance to hear that tape yesterday. One of the writers that was standing outside the door just by coincidence in between games of the doubleheader to come in when Dallas decided to hold his famous meeting. And I heard it on tape. Now, this is through the wall and everything, through the door and everything. And believe me, he blistered him. He left there with nothing untold.
Dick Williams across the diamond in the Expo dugout. Seemed rather calm and composed before the game today. Mike Schmidt is up at the plate now, number 3 man in the order with a count of 1-1. And Schmidt needs just 1 more run to reach 100 and mark the 5th time in 8 years. And he's reached 100 runs and 100 RBIs in the same season. And of course, Mike with 44 home runs so far at 113 RBIs. That pitch is outside.
Yeah, you're talking about there's 3 hits in his last 29 at-bats against Rogers, so he hasn't worn him out. But you're talking about Dick Williams a while ago, and he's going to be trying to become the first manager in Major League history to win pennants in 3 different cities. Of course, he won in Boston, Oakland, and trying to win now up in Montreal.
Nip the outside corner. Close. 2-2.
They were kidding Mike Schmidt in the clubhouse. Mike, I guess, has a little thing that he has in the back of his mind. He features himself as a fine hit-and-run hitter. Here's a guy leading the major league in home runs with 44, and he likes to hit and run. A little bit of agitating going on in there.
Mike's career high for home runs for a season set a year ago when he had 45. The National League record for home runs is 47 by Eddie Matthews. He will not get one here as Rogers gets him on the corner looking. And so Steve turns the Phillies away in order in the bottom of the first, and there's no score.
Introducing the new 1981 Monte Carlo. Virtually every inch reshaped, every line resculpted with economical V6 power. A new Monte Carlo. And you'll choose it because you're proud of who you are. You and Monte Carlo. A matter of personal pride. 1981 Monte Carlo from Chevrolet.
Hey, you sold out a Gillette track too.
Delivery's coming any second. But why should a busy man like you have to wait when this razor will do?
Gillette track 2 shaves me closer and smoother than that. I'll wait.
These'll fit your track 2 handle.
I know what I'm getting with track 2 twin blades, but those, I'll wait.
But to guys who use Gillette track 2, no other blade will do.
Track 2?
We'll wait.
Gillette, when it comes to shaving, we give you the edge.
Right Guard knows a man sweats more than a woman. That's why a man needs Right Guard. Right Guard has a male effectiveness formula. A formula so strong, more men count on it to help stop perspiration odor every day. Right Guard knows there's a difference between you. Men perspire more. And that's what Right Guard's for.
To the top of the second inning now for Gary Carter, Warren Cromartie, and Larry Parrish. And here are three guys who carry some thunder in their bats for the Expos. Carter with 95 runs batted in and 27 home runs. Standing in, the big guy out of the San Fernando Valley in Los Angeles. Bob Walk is inside with his hot stuff for ball one. Bob did not get a whole big look in spring training. He was cut quite early because the Phillies were really looking then at Dick Ruthven, Nino Espinosa, and Warren Brewster. Were all coming off arm problems, so Bob did not really draw the attention of a lot of people in spring training.
You know, when you look at the Phillies staff, just looking at them in their size, they got an ideal size staff. I mean, they're all big guys.
Of course, that comment comes from a bit of a big horse. Anyhow, 6 foot. He's shrinking, though. He's no longer 6'7". He's down to 6'6" now.
Well, Bob is 6'3", 200 pounds. Ruthven 6'3", 190.
That ball is hit high in the air and deep to left, and it is gone. Home run for Carter, number 28. Well, that was a decisive swing of the bat. He just flat nailed it.
That got out of here in a hurry. It jumped out of here. Got a high pitch up over the plate. And believe you me, Gary Carter really rode it out of here.
He's a big, strong guy. He really is.
Now there's taking a nice peek at it, and look at the location. Breaking pitch up over, and I'll guarantee his eyes are as big as saucers.
He came right out of his antiseptic socks to hit that one. Warren Cromartie is up there now. And Crow playing first base so well. He's played in all 155 of the games the Expos have had. His average and numbers are reflected there. The Expos get out on top at the top of the second inning on Carter's home run, 1-0. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, we're in Dick Williams' office a couple of weeks ago when they had the big rain delay up in Montreal, and that's what they were thinking about, this long road trip.
That's stroked sharply to the second baseman trio.
But they had to go to New York, St. Louis. There you take a look at Manny Trillo, and boy, I'll tell you, he has just solidified the right side of that infield. That ball hit hard, but actually hooking right back at him. But the Expos on the trip, considering that they've been gone for a long time, this is their 13th game, They're right at the 500 mark, and that's where you like to be if you're going to try and win a pennant.
Here's a guy right here, Larry Parrish, third baseman. If he has a hot week to finish the season, oh, it'll mean so much to them. He is a power hitter, but he's down at 255 with only 14 home runs on the whole year, and that is not his standard. There's big Gary Carter, who hit the home run. Remember last year that Larry hit 30 for the Expos. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That pitch outside and low. The Expos lead the league in 224 steals. LaFleur accounted for 93 of those, and he's laid up with that broken wrist. Count now, 3 balls and 2 strikes, full to Parrish, with Spire on deck. Got him.
Well, I was talking a little while ago about Dick Williams being the first manager trying to win 3 pennants in 3 different cities, and Steve Hurd down in the truck, who does a fine job for us in his researching, and said that Bill McKechnie did that too. So you're looking at the Montreal notes, and I don't know whether up there in Canada whether they even know Mr. McKechnie, but he has already done it.
They will.
Oh, yes, they will.
Somebody will write it, and then here will come the mail. Chris Spire at 257, and Chris has had a hot month in September. 21 hits and 45 at-bats over the last 15 games. So he's jacked his average up considerably. A 1-0 ball game. Montreal leading on the 28th home run of the year by Gary Carter to lead off this inning. 2 down now. 3 balls and no strikes to Chris Spire. Three and 1. They had that 50,000 feeling for the ball game today, but I don't think they've gotten it yet. Some may come later. On the corner to make it 3-2. And Christopher has a little conversation with Lee Wire about it. Chris put in many good seasons with the Giants. Move over to Montreal. And foul back.
We've been sitting watching Lee Wire. We've had a couple of calls that have been questioned on that outside part, but when you're pitching, that's what you like to see. You want to see he's going to be consistent. He's going to be sitting out there, going to calling that outside corner. Hey, you just stay right with it. Let the hitters gripe if they want.
That's exactly how Rogers struck out Schmidt. He threw 3 of them on the outside corner and got all 3 called. But here, Walk now has issued his 2nd walk. Football scores. 4th quarter, Pittsburgh bouncing back. And Houston, Cincy all even. In Los Angeles jumping on the Giants. Buffalo, look at that Buffalo Bills bunch, would you? Minnesota, Detroit having at it. And Philadelphia, St. Louis are even at 7. Steve Rogers, the pitcher, who has 6 runs batted in and a 1.62 batting average. Bob Walk has now walked 2, and that's foul back in the crowd. Terry Bradshaw has thrown 3 touchdown passes for the Pittsburgh Steelers to Jim Smith, 21, 29, 23 yards.
Another ho-hum day for Terry, huh?
Yep. Hit out to the right side, dropping quickly, foul. Count now as we look at American League East scores, with the Yankees leading Detroit 3-0 in the 6th inning and Cleveland over Baltimore 2-1 in the 5th.
Now the Yankees just about ready to clinch it. I think their magic number's about 3. Of course, if they win and Baltimore loses, well, you lop off 2 in a hurry.
1-2 pitch. Just missed. 2-2.
There's Dallas Green. He's done a good job, Keith, with this ball club. Excellent job.
That's foul.
Well, Steve's taking his cuts.
You can't. I was just going to say, you don't take him lightly. He'll swing the bat on you.
He can be dangerous. I wonder who colors his beard. Oh, that's foul off the right side again toward the picnic area. The fellow boxed it around a while, but he found the handle. One more piece of fried chicken, he wouldn't have been able to in over the fence. Finally struck him out on a high fastball. But the Montreal Expos get on the board with Gary Carter's home run and lead the Phillies up to 1.5, 1-0.
Allstate challenges you. Find your homeowner's insurance policy, then bring it in and compare.
I personally accept Allstate's challenge.
Because all homeowners insurance is not alike. Allstate could show you ways to get more for your money.
Allstate's thrown us a challenge. Keep looking.
Allstate homeowners insurance could give you more value for the money. So find your policy and bring it in.
I found it.
You found it? You're in good hands with Allstate. That's a promise.
Using this surgical fiber optic camera lens, Prestone Labs is going to show you what weak, neglected antifreeze can do to your radiator after only 9,000 miles. Look at these passages. Rust, corrosion. Continued neglect could clog them and overheat this radiator. Before this happens to you, put in Prestone 2. Prestone has a patented silicone silicate formula that forms a tough protective barrier to lock out rust and corrosion. Prestone 2 and Prestone Super Flush. No wonder we're #1.
For whatever you need, take the first step. The Bell System Yellow Pages.
For the food after my baby walked down the aisle.
For the photographer who told us all to smile.
We took the very first step. For this chauffeur limousine.
And a honeymoon that's simply a dream.
We took the very first step.
The first step puts you steps ahead, saves time, money, energy. So let your fingers do the walking.
It's the very first step. The first step.
Tomorrow on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football, live, the Denver Broncos battle the New England Patriots in a gridiron grudge match. Live tomorrow on ABC.
Yes, indeed. Foxborough, they'll be rattling around the Broncos and the Patriots. Broncos have got to get themselves organized, stabilized, and not get too far behind that San Diego bunch out west. Here's Greg Luzinski. And they've been jumping on old Greg a little bit this season, but you can see he's had a good deal of success against Steve Rogers during the course of his career. So the Bulls in there to lead off with Trio to follow, and then Gary Maddox. And Rogers is low. Joe Morgan has hit a home run for Houston, and the Astros are leading Cincinnati 3-1 after one.
Boy, he's come alive, Keith.
Oh, he's had a strong September, hasn't he? Outside. Just the presence of Morgan is a stabilizing factor for you, though. And I'll tell you that you think back and realize the Dodgers could have had him. They could certainly use him right now. Dodgers miss Billy Russell.
Oh, they do a lot.
On the outside corner, and once again, Rogers is able to get that pitch called a strike. 2 balls and a strike now to Luzinski. This is outside with that. Greg came to spring camp this year about 20 pounds lighter than normal. He had worked around here with Billy DeMars during the winter, but he had surgery on his right knee, missed 45 games, and what he thought was going to be a good year for him turned into a very long, hard one. 231 batting average. Boy, that isn't a challenge, just a fastball right in the heart of the plate.
He's going right after him.
3-2, the count now. High to the right side, drifting, hanging up there, and drops foul. Whoops, 2 of them go into the picnic area.
Oh, look at that. Cromartie and Rodney Scott, both of them come out of there all right.
I've never seen that. Two guys upside down.
I have not seen two. You're right. That ball slicing, I think the wind helped it a little bit as far as blowing it away. And then it blew it foul. But slicing down the line, and now you get a look at Scott and Cromartie both trying to stop. One goes, the other goes.
And they Crow pushed him over. Boy, that Cromartie is a ball player. All right, here's 3-2 to Luzinski. Leading off the second inning for the Phillies, it's low, ball 4. In the National League, Pirates and Cubs 1-1. There's a story on Houston, Cincinnati. Dodgers and Padres play later. Mike Easler, home run, his 21st for the Pirates for their run in the ball game against the Cubs. Pirates just sort of dropped out of it when Big Will went down. Sore leg. Will it start?
Well, you recall we talked to Chuck Tanner on the pregame show, and I asked him that very question. I said, can you win it without Stargell? And he said yes, but I think right now he'd have to give you another answer.
Trio with 7 home runs standing at the plate. And that 7 big ones for Manny equals his career high for a season. He is such a steady fellow for you on the right side. His average at .293 speaks for itself. Runner goes, and a slow hopper to the shortstop, Spire. So Luzinski ran himself right out of a double play right there.
Dallas Green trying to make something happen by starting Luzinski and having Trio on the hit and run. Manny just didn't get a real good ball to handle. It kind of got in on him, tied him up just a little bit, but the Phillies now, if they have the tying run at second base, and you say they stay out of the double play. That's exactly what they did.
Luzinski went into second base like a fallen tree. He hit it so hard, he just flat bounced. It's hammering that sore leg. Maddox, coming into the season, was a lifetime .293 hitter, but he's up there right now at .259. That ball is hit high in the air and deep to center field for Andre Dawson. Down come the glasses, and he flags it down. Luzinski tags and moves over to third. 2 down.
We get in the daytime here in Philadelphia in Veterans Stadium, and it's beautiful afternoon, and that ball will carry pretty good. That ball carried a lot further than what I thought it was going to, and the home run that we saw Carter hit, he just crushed that, and that just jumped out of here.
Now it's Larry Bohr, the shortstop, at .264. 17 errors for him, huh? Well, that's... Some years are like that, I guess. Expos leading 1-0. Phillies at bat with 2 out. Luzinski at third, bottom of the second inning. The ball is hit to the right side, and the score is tied. As Bohr pulls it sharply to right, and Luzinski scores from third. Now, see how big that move by Green was to send Luzinski?
Yeah, that was an awful big inning. We've talked about it before so many times. If Rogers can go out there and just shut him out, you've got the home run being hit by Carter. You're on top 1-0. And if you can go out there, shut him out for the 3 hitters and go about your business, get a chance to increase the lead. But they can't do it. And again, the base on balls comes back to hurt him. He walked Luzinski, and he eventually scored.
Bob Boone, .229 average. And the fans have been on him a little bit this year. But that's one of the better throwing arms back at the plate in baseball right there in Booney.
He's got a good one. He already showed us a great heads-up play in the very first inning when Scott was going to steal third. Office caught a little bit flat-footed at first base, and he went to second base and threw him out.
Boa bluffs, doesn't go. Rogers misses outside. 2 out. And the tying run coming across on Boa's single to right field. pitcher, Walk, is out on the on-deck circle for Philadelphia. The bases has had some success. He bluffs again. The pitch is up, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Larry has been successful 21 times. He's been caught 5. A 1-1 ball game as Rogers trying to put the Phillies down here in the bottom of the second. Runner goes, pitch swung on, hit out to the right side. It's hanging up, and here comes the right fielder. Great diving effort, and he caught it. Roland Office. It hung, and it hung just long enough. And Office, sliding along on the rug, makes the catch. That thing gets by him. The Phillies might have taken the lead.
Well, the ball actually carrying up a little bit. The wind is helping it. A great catch by Office, and right now through 2, we're tied at 1.
This ranch doesn't run without horses, and the horses don't run without you. But when you've hammered out a day's work, you meet up with Miller Time.
When it's time to relax.
Time for the best tasting beer you can find.
One beer stands clear.
Miller High Life.
If you've got the time, we've got the beer.
My alternator light won't go out.
Uh-oh.
What do you think it is, Mr. Goodwrench?
Well, let's take a look.
Mr. Goodwrench has the right GM equipment available to work on your General Motors car. Thousands of dollars worth. But he also knows the value of a well-placed thumb.
What's the problem? Just a stretch belt. I can replace it while you wait.
All right! Keep that great GM feeling.
Where Mr. Goodwrench works.
With genuine GM parts.
Let's check the scoreboard and see how Coleco's head-to-head electronic baseball stacks up against the competition. Sure, some games have base stealing and pitch selection. But for real 2-player action, only head-to-head baseball has computed batting averages for each player, hitting for average or for extra power, 16 pitching variations, including a pitch-out, extra inning scoring, and more. It's no contest. Get head-to-head electronic baseball by Coleco, now that you know the score.
To the top of the third for the top of the order. Second time around for the Expos, Jerry White, Rodney Scott, and Roland Office, and Bob Walk. This is low and away for ball 1 to White. White struck out looking first time. Threw that right down the pipe. Good sizzling fastball, and it's beat foul to Pete Rose.
Now there's another look at that catch at the end of the second inning for the Phillies. Roland Office in a great catch. Boy, I'll tell you, that's fine camera work, guys. Really, that's a good shot.
Yeah.
It's a great catch.
And nobody behind him to back him up.
That was it, right? We were just talking about that in the commercial break, that nobody was behind him. If that ball, he doesn't catch it, it's an inside the Parker.
2 balls and a strike to Jerry White. Back, boom. Oh, we need a silencer on that screen. That's the loudest screen in baseball.
I'll tell you what, it keeps you from dozing.
Felipe Alou coaching at first base for the Expos, and Ozzie Virgil over at third. That's going to be foul on the left side. That's upstairs. It's 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Walk throws a lot of pitches. That's one thing I think that when he goes down to spring training next year, one thing on his mind as he sits around and kind of digests this winter is don't throw that many pitches.
The Expos lead off the top of the third inning with Jerry White getting a free pass to first base.
There's some update on the scores. New York over Detroit 4-3, and Cleveland still over Baltimore 3-1. The Yankees just about there, starting to ice down the champagne.
All right, let's see what Dick Williams decides to do now. with White. Good speed on first. Scott turns around, slides up the bat handle. The pitch is outside for ball one. Mike Schmidt coming from third, and Pete Rose from first defensively for the Phillies, and time called. Herm Starrett going to the mound.
Well, just kind of updating a little bit more on that Yankee-Baltimore situation. Should the Yankees continue and go on and win as they are right now, and Baltimore, should they lose, that will clinch at least a tie for the New York Yankees, and all they have to do is pick up one more win or a Baltimore loss to ice it all up.
The Philly pitching coach out there having a conversation with the catcher and the pitcher to make sure they understand now. And let's get our act together here. We're Walk, a speedster in White. And you know that Scott's up there trying to sacrifice it. Herm coming now off the field.
Oh, I think the big thing that he's talking about, too, is come on, let's throw strikes. Let's don't be standing out here and throwing all these pitches. Go 3-2, 3-2, 3-2 on every hitter. Throw strikes.
He does. He's coachable. 1-1.
You're doing part of the job for the hitters when you don't throw strikes.
That's right.
See so many youngsters in the major leagues today that are always pitching from behind.
Look how many of these Montreal people get out there and go. Oh, there he goes. The pitch out. The throw to second base is high. He's stolen it. That's the third stolen base in this ball game by the Expos. 2 by Scott, now 1 by White.
Well, you just cannot give the catcher any kind of a chance whatsoever. The pitch is out. It's right there, but a great jump. And then the throw was a little bit into the runner, and Trio had to come back to make the catch. And once he did that, he had no shot whatsoever. Good jump by Jerry White. Excellent speed. The throw coming into White, and then no shot.
Nobody out. 2-1 pitch. Put down on the ground of the third baseman Schmidt. He goes over to first. Ooh, they made it close. The speed of Scott did, and White goes to third. 1 out.
You can see how Dick Williams is going to play. He's going to play for that 1 run at a time. He's not looking for any big innings. He'd like to have it naturally, but he's not going to count on it right now. You get the 2 contenders, or you're playing against a club that both battling for that divisional title. You don't see many blowouts. You're going to usually see close ball games, and that's what we've had the first 2 days. You've had 2-1 and 4-3. Both teams winning 1 game.
See, Mr. Office is efficient with runners in scoring position. He walked his first time up today, and the pitch bends in for a strike. There's the man over at third, Mr. White. If he comes home, the Expos will be back into the lead. That is hit out into left center field. Catch made by Maddox. Runner breaks. Maddox falls down. The throw is weak, and Montreal leads it 2-1.
That's a good play by Maddox, because that ball was sinking and moving away from him, and it's actually slicing away. Here's a different shot. Office with a sacrifice fly, and his 28th RBI of the year gives the Expos a lead. But now Maddox is having to come in a hurry. Now from the dead run, you see him double clutch. He could not get himself into position. White, excellent speed. They had no chance whatsoever.
Another thing to consider, too, that Maddox, of all the center fielders in baseball, probably plays as shallow as anybody. And in that particular instance, it was an advantage to be so daring. Of course, he has that marvelous speed that enables him to outrun fly balls. The batter is Andre Dawson, and Walk is out in front of him, 0-2. That one bounces up there. You've got 2 out, 1 run in, and the Expos back on top. High score of 2-1 as Gary Carter, who hit the home run, is 28th. The lead off the second is on deck. Sharp shot, no chance for Schmidt. That was a bullet past him into left field. And Dawson's on with his first hit of the day.
Well, they got some action going out in the Philadelphia bullpen. As you take another look at this base hit, you get it on the carpet, you hit it that hard, you just don't have a chance. That ball was by Schmidt in a hurry. So Dallas Green thinking along the same lines as Dick Williams. He can't afford to give up give him a big inning to Montreal. He's got to stop him. He does.
Dickie Knowles, N-O-L-E-S, throwing in the bullpen for the Phillies. We're in the top of the third inning, and the pitch to Carter is good for a strike. Oh, this is a good young catcher, isn't he?
Oh. One of the premier young catchers in either league.
Minnesota leading Kansas City 4-3, middle of the fifth. George Brett's not playing. Has to be rested. His batting average down to .384, and the pitch is fouled back by Gary Carter. There's Mr. Ron LaFleur, who had 93 stolen bases. If they get him back, and it does wind up Houston-Montreal, you're going to see some of the dadgumdest running you've ever seen, I think, in the playoffs, because both teams run and run and run. A two-strike count on Carter as they hold the runner Dawson at first.
Of course, the big thing about when you say Ron LaFleur and Montreal Expos in the same breath, while you're wondering whether he will be with the Expos next year.
Close. That was close.
Now Dawson getting a pretty good lead. Walk has a pretty good move when he goes over there. And Eric Gregg right there, but you see Andre back to the bag.
He's right out there with that foot on the rug again, though, and the pitch is fouled off. And that one bit Lee Wire on the face mask, the umpire. After two, Houston has a 4-1 lead over Cincinnati. Houston sitting on top of the Western Division by 2 over the Dodgers. A two-strike pitch. Nope, they'll go to first again. See what Dawson has done on the bases this year. Well, he's efficient. 33 stolen bases, been caught 8 times. Speed and more speed. Two-strike pitch to Carter now. Nope. Dawson again had that foot well out on the carpet. Bob Walk has gotten the message from the Expos already. Let him get out there. And he'll go. Dawson, like LaFleur and Scott, usually runs on his own. He's got a green light to go when he feels like he's got a chance at it. Swing and a miss by Gary Carter, striking out. And the inning is over. But the leadoff man walked, and he came around to score, and Montreal leads Philadelphia after 2.5, 2-1.
Muhammad Ali, the October issue of Inside Sports really zeroes in on football, basketball, and hockey.
The only zeros I care about are those in my bank account.
40 pages on basketball and hockey. Inside Sports also tells you why Monday Night Football is tougher on announcers than players. And guess who's on the cover?
You mean I finally made it?
I hate to tell you this, Ali, but it's Howard Cosell, Don Meredith, and Frank Gifford.
How Cosell? Who's he?
You just read October Inside Sports at your newsstand now.
Introducing an important step ahead for 81, the new Chevy pickup with new aerodynamic styling and a new trimmer weight, but with a strong Chevy truck frame and massive girder beam suspension. A smooth-running, high-mileage 6-cylinder engine for better EPA mileage estimates than last year. The same big, roomy cab and even more payload, plus new sleek looks. From the ground up, the 81 Chevy pickups are an important step ahead.
Chevy trucks, an important step ahead. Head & Shoulders doesn't have it. Selsun Blue doesn't have it. Only Denorex has it. An extra relief medicine to stop dandruff itch. You can feel it tingle.
All 3 have one medicine for dandruff itch, but only Denorex adds a second medicine, an exclusive anti-itch medicine many dermatologists recommend.
You can feel it tingle. That's extra relief medicine, and only Denerex has it.
In regular or New Mountain Fresh Herbal, Denerex stops dandruff itch with an extra relief medicine.
Tonight, join us for a special night on ABC, starting at 7, 6 Central and Mountain. A lot of fun for you, an hour of it. Fascinating exotic creatures on the new hit show, Those Amazing Animals. Then we'll have a look behind the legend of America's most famous sex symbol, Marilyn Monroe. A rather revealing special, Marilyn, The Untold Story, a world premiere tonight on the ABC Sunday Night Movie. Drysdale's got to be flying. He can't watch it. Steve Rogers pitching now to Bob Walk, the Phillies pitcher, and Pete Rose and Bake McBride. And the first pitch was a ball, second pitch a strike. Walk's batting average on the season, 1.46. Not too loud, and it's 2-1.
Well, there's a guy that Rogers didn't want to get real cute with. Just go right out and get him, because you certainly don't want to lose him and then start off with the top of the order and Pete Rose and so on down the line.
On the ground to the shortstop spire, Chris gets a nice big hop, loops it over to first base to Cromartie, and you've got one out. This an exclusive presentation of ABC Sports. Let's pause 5 seconds so our local stations tell you who they are.
WEZF-TV, Channel 22, Burlington.
So there now you know who they are. Montreal leading the Philadelphia Phillies in the bottom of the third inning by a score of 2-1. Gary Carter, his 28th home run. Jerry White walked, and Roland Office brought him home. Greg Luzinski for the Phillies in the bottom of the second walked, and Larry Boa singled him home. So that's where we are. With Steve Rogers against Bob Walk, you've got one out. Pete Rose is up for the second time in the ball game, and he hits it foul on the left side out of play to make it 2 strikes. Pete, his first time up, hit a fly ball to center field.
Well, Rose isn't going to hit 300 this year, but he has done a lot of things with the leather out there at first base, and he's really been getting some timely base hits. He's about 25 base hits shy of 200 again.
Foul on the right side this time. Pete's now 39. A year ago, he played every game. This year, he has not missed a game, and he started all of them but one. High bouncer to the right side. Scott flips it over to first, to Cromartie, and you've got 2 out. NFL scores a final now. The Steelers beat Chicago 38-3. Houston beat Cincinnati, scoring late 13-10. Cleveland really jumping on Tampa Bay. The Rams jumping all over the Giants, as you see, in a final 28-7. Another final, Buffalo hammered Oakland 24-7. And the other final there, Detroit beat Minnesota 27-7, and Billy Sims keeps rolling along. 157 yards today on 27 carries. The Lions are undefeated, and nobody is griping about the $1 million Billy got. Bake McBride, ball 1. McBride flied out to the left fielder, first time up. Rogers now goes to 2 balls and no strikes. In that Pittsburgh game, the Steeler quarterback Bradshaw 4 TD passes, 3 of them to Jim Smith. Joe Cribbs had 2 touchdowns for Buffalo today. That's ball 3. Tony Fritsch field goal, 5 minutes remaining. Won it for the Oilers. They appealed the call, and they get a pronouncement of strike from the third base umpire, Harry Wendelstedt. So that'll make the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Three and 1. There's Big Mike. Struck out looking the first time up today. The 3-1 pitch to McBride. Up, ball 4. So Schmidt will come up. And before the game today, Don Drysdale talked with Mike and suggested he must be tickled pink, the kind of a year that he has had.
Tickled pink. Well, I'll be tickled real pink if we win the division, and I have one of my best years of my career to help the team get to the divisional title. You know, my whole year is going to be based on whether this team wins a division or not. It's going to take a lot of sock out of it if we don't, and if we do, it'll be the greatest year of my career.
That's right. You are talking funny. All right, McBride will ease off first. Try to distract Rogers as much as possible. Try to get a pitch into Mike Schmidt's powerhouse. Let him ride on it. He's got 44 home runs.
I think Mike this year kind of feels as though that he has finally found a good groove and really matured as a hitter. He's having quite a September right there.
It's a career for some folks.
But he's got the 44 home runs, and he'll drive the ball right now. He's using the whole ballpark. He's not just trying to jerk everything. He's not trying to pull everything. He'll hit balls right center, left center. Hit it between the lines and hit it hard.
Rogers with a move to first base. McBride on the bases has stolen 13, but he has been caught 10 times this year. A 2-1 ball game here in the bottom of the third inning. Rogers becomes deliberate with a man on first. 2 out. Ball is hit hard to left center field. It is bouncing over for a ground rule double. Bounces up and over that yellow stripe and over the fence.
Boy, there's a
base runner has to hold.
A break and a half for the Montreal Expos right there. That ball hit hard. If that ball bounces high off the wall, McBride scores, and you've got a tie ball game. You can see Mike Schmidt at second base. He's a little disgusted. He hit the ball hard. He's got himself a double, but really nothing to show for it. McBride with 2 outs. He's running all the way. Here's another look at it. It appeared for a moment that Dawson might have a chance, but the ball was hooking away from him a little bit. It just took the one high hop, kangarooed out of the ballpark, and then rolled back in. And now it's going to be up to the bull, Greg Luzinski. He walked and has scored Philadelphia's only run in the second inning. Base hit, might get 2 home. Steve Rogers way outside with a pitch and a good stop by Carter. McBride at third, Schmidt at second, and time called as the pitching coach of the Expos, Galen Cisco, goes to the mound. Got Galen going out, and he might see a thing or two in the mechanics right now of Rogers. It does not appear that he's really turning the ball loose. It appears that his motion is tight. And you can see on a few of the breaking pitches that he's been throwing, you can see him really concentrating, say, I want to get these breaking pitches away. But all of a sudden, you can just get to a point to where it's like taking a golf swing and just tensing up all the way from the top of the backswing. Same thing in pitching. Just got to relax and turn it loose. Now, sometimes that's a lot easier said than done when you're in the middle of a pennant race. But that's what you've got to say to yourself. That's where the mental part comes in.
The Expo bullpen, no movement there. It's quiet. Ball 1 count to Luzinski. On the corner. 1-1. You don't see Big Greg growl much, do you?
No.
Thank goodness he's placid. Man, that big and angry. 1-1 pitch. Crowd coming up with it. A little looper out into right center field. Scott grabs it and holds on. Rodney Scott, with that great quickness, is able to flag it down and turn the Phillies away. So Luzinski, a little handle hit. Ball was in on him. He just muscled it out there. But look at Scott reach out and grab it, and Montreal holds the lead at 2-1 after 3.
Introducing the Pepsi-Cola World Series scorecard, an exciting new game with thousands of prizes.
He's out.
Here's how you play. Rub off these baseballs on your Pepsi game card, and if your score matches the game score, you'll be eligible to win this Ford Mustang, this Mattel electronic baseball game, cash, and lots more. Pick up game cards at participating stores. Play the Pepsi-Cola World Series scorecard game.
And be a winner.
Glidden's most famous factory sale is here again. Now you can buy spread satin wall paint for only $8.99 a gallon. Glidden spread satin is easy to apply, and it's easy to scrub clean. And right now, it's at the easy price of just $8.99 a gallon. But you'd better hurry. Glidden spread satin will last a long time, but our low $8.99 price won't. Glidden. Paint you can be loyal to.
At JCPenney Auto Centers, we won't give you the business because we want to keep your business.
They didn't sell me the JCPenney battery. They said the 5-year battery was powerful enough for my car. It was.
I thought I needed new shock absorbers. They told me my tires were too hard.
I came in for ordinary radials. I came out with new mileage maker XP all-season steel-belted radials. They steered me right.
JCPenney Auto Centers, we won't steer you wrong.
The standings in the National League East and the numbers down there under games remaining includes this one. The Phillies will have 4 with the Cubs, and then they have to go to Montreal. Finish it up with 3 games up there. And we'll be there. Indeed, we will. Our presentation of ABC Sunday afternoon baseball next week will be Houston at Los Angeles and Montreal at home with the Phillies. Check your local listing for the game in your area as we bring you the game that means the most in your area. And the pitch is fouled back by Warren Cromartie for strike 1. Larry Parrish is on deck, and then you'll have Chris Spire with the Expos leading by a score of 2-1. We are now in the top of the 4th inning. That's fouled off. Walk pitching now to Warren Cromartie in the top of the 4th inning. Warren hits it on the ground and into right field for the 3rd base hit of the ball game for Montreal. The Expos on top 2-1, and we welcome those of you who've been watching the Cincinnati-Houston ball game. Very quickly, let me tell you how the scoring has occurred. Gary Carter, a home run, is 28th and leading off the 2nd inning for Montreal. The 2nd run scored when Jerry White walked, stole second base, and Roland Office brought him home. The Phillies' only run came when Luzinski walked into the bottom of the 2nd inning and Larry Boa singled him home. That's where we are with Steve Rogers opposing Bob Walk. And at the plate right now is Larry Parrish, who struck out swinging his first time. So in the battle in the Eastern Division between Montreal and Philadelphia, it is a 2-1 ball game. And those of you enjoying Houston-Cincinnati, here again that ball game. One strike on Larry Parrish. 3rd baseman for the Expos. Now it's 2 strikes.
They get some action. Again, a right-hander and a left-hander down in the bullpen for the Phillies. I believe on that last ground ball, I don't think Rose saw it. He started to go to the bag and then decided to go for the ball. I think he just flat did not see it.
Knowles and Sauché are in the Philadelphia pen, just in case they're needed. Go back to the point Don made a little while ago. You don't want to have a big inning. Got to stay close when you're in this kind of a battle. That is a high fly ball lifted out into right center. And the center fielder, Gary Maddox, for the catch. 1 out. George Brett pinch hit in the Kansas City, Minnesota game. Hit a grand slam home run, his 26th of the year, sore hand and all.
He's something.
He's a franchise. With Cromartie on first base and 1 out, here is Chris Spire. That's fouled away. The playoffs for the National and American League. The National League playoffs begin Tuesday, October 7 in the Eastern Division champion city. The American League playoffs begin Wednesday, October 8 in the American League Western City. The runner goes, the pitch is fouled off. And the League Championship Series will be seen here on ABC. Don and I will be involved with the National League playoffs. Al Michaels, Howard Cosell, involved with the American League playoffs. A 2-strike count on Chris Spire. Cromartie doesn't have quite the big lead some of the other people have been able to effect against Walk. He's not been able as yet to get his foot out onto the carpet, as you see scores from the National League.
Now, there you see Pittsburgh, the Cubs giving them all kinds of problems. They could knock them out of it today.
Yep. They sure could. Cubs coming into Philly for 4. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And Spire fouls it off again.
A lot of times when you're in the course of a pennant race, Keith, you'd rather play a team. If you're Philadelphia, you'd rather play Montreal instead of playing the ones down or just finishing out the season. They have nothing to gain, or everything to gain and nothing to lose. They're going to play 6 more games and go on home. They play free and easy, don't worry about anything.
Runners going. The pitch is fouled off by Spire. That time Cromartie had a big jump on Walk. The Phillies with a 9-5 edge over the Cubs so far this season. Well, one of the things that's so confounding about the baseball season when you're playing a team that is back in the standings, they're shuffling their roster around or bringing new people up, youngsters from the minor league system, and all those guys want to come up and be Walter Mitty for a day, and you don't know a whole lot about them, and sometimes they'll take your head off.
Oh, they certainly will. They're trying to play in battle and impress for next year.
Cromartie dances off, and Walk's fastball is low and away. And the count now, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Bob Walk has thrown a lot of pitches up to the plate.
He has thrown a lot of pitches. He's been 3-2 on a lot of hitters, pitching from behind. I think he'd take a good lesson from Steve Carlton. Just get it and throw it. And that's what Steve does. He doesn't waste any time whatsoever. I've always said you can stand out there and outthink yourself on the mound.
Boy, was that a big win here yesterday for Montreal when they beat Carlton.
Oh, you figured that if they lose yesterday after getting beat the opening night of the series, with Carlton going, they're in trouble.
Runner goes, pitch misses, and it's ball 4. So Warren Cromartie is at second base. Chris Spire is at first base. That is the 4th walk given up by Bob Walk. And NCAA college football coming next Saturday. We've got a real good one for you there. UCLA going into Columbus to play Ohio State. Both of them undefeated. Both had big wins yesterday. Ohio State beating Arizona State. UCLA clobbering Wisconsin. There will be other regional games to be selected and announced tomorrow. So check your local listing, and we invite you to join us for college football on Saturday. I am tickled to be going to Columbus because that may be the biggest test Ohio State's going to face this year. All right, Steve Rogers up. Everybody thinking bunt with 1 out and 2 on. Pitch misses for ball 1.
That's exactly what Dick Williams is going to have Rogers do on the first pitch. Now he'll check down with Ozzie Virgil, his third base coach, and we'll see what they want him to do. Rose trying to creep in.
He rolls it down the third base line. It's a good bunt. Moves the runners up. Throw across to 3-0 by Schmidt. You've got 2 out on the sacrifice.
Well, that's exactly what Philadelphia could not do yesterday with Gary Maddox. They had the tying runs aboard in a 4-2 ball game in the 9th inning. And instead of runners at first and second, instead of Maddox bunting down the third base line to make the third baseman field it and move your runners up, he bunted down the first base line. Cromartie was shaking hands with him, forced the runner at third. They only got 1 run in the 9th inning. They could have tied it with the base hit that they eventually got.
Big chance here for Jerry White, top of the order. Struck out looking, walked, stolen a base, scored a run. Pitch is high to Jerry for ball 1. If he places one, Mr. Walk may leave us.
I would venture to say he's walking on very thin ice right now.
That's looped out into short center, but here comes Gary Maddox playing that short, shallow center field to make the catch. And so the Expos are turned away. They strand 2. They lead the ball game 2-1 in the middle of the 4th inning.
We challenged hotshot Garland Dwyer with a Mattel Electronics baseball game.
You are off.
Inside, a tiny thinking computer plays like a team of pros. The computer fires a fastball. Strike one. Now a curve. It's a triple. Garland's trying to stretch it home.
You're out! Hey, who's in there?
Electronic baseball. One of 9 sports games from the #1 name, Mattel Electronics.
Now comes Miller time. The flag is dropped, the race is a memory. And now you're coasting into the best tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life, America's quality beer since 1855.
If you've got the time, if you've got the time, we've got the beer. If you've got the time.
You don't need a haircut, Mr. Reed. You need Brill Cream.
Brill Cream?
Sure. Your hair is short enough, but it's a mess.
It sure is.
Brill Cream so concentrated, just a little dab keeps my hair healthy looking and in control all day. Watch. Without Brill Cream, hair's out of control. With Brill Cream, hair stays in control. Try a little dab. See? Terrific, huh?
You're right. With Brill Cream, a little dab will do you.
Tomorrow on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football, live, the Denver Broncos battle the New England Patriots in a gridiron grudge match. Live tomorrow on ABC.
There's the line score in the ball game, with the Expos on top by a score of 2-1. And in the bottom of the 4th inning, the Phillies will send to the plate Manny Trio, Gary Maddox, and Larry Boa. These two teams are all even in the seasonal series going into this ball game today. And Montreal on a long road trip coming into this game. We're 6-6 on the road. Now they go home to finish. 3 with the Redbirds of St. Louis and 3 with the Phillies. Pitch is up to Manny for ball 1.
Well, the shadows that we talked about earlier, they have kind of moved out now. Second base is in the sun and all the outfield. Getting a little bit better now for the hitters up there.
There's that fastball on the corner. You see the look at the sun. You see it's virtually covering the entire infield. New York and Detroit now are 5-5. They're even in the 8th inning. Yankees. That's up. 2 balls and a strike. Pace, pace, pace. Boy, it can slip away from you so quickly, can it? Lose your feel, lose your rhythm.
It really can, Keith, and sometimes it takes you a while to get it back.
That's outside. So now Rogers has gone to 3 balls and a strike on Trio.
Rogers, as like I said before, it looks like his mechanics are off. You can see him out there talking to himself. There's no reason for that. He's been around too long, but it looks as though that he is just struggling, if that's about the only way you can put it.
Ball is hit to the right side. Right fielder Roland Office there. Flags it down, 1 out.
Let's take a look at the pitching style of Steve Rogers. He's kind of a slinger a little bit. And kind of a erect type pitcher. He really doesn't have a lot of body movement or the bending of his body. He kind of pitches straight up in the air. And of course, when you pitch straight up in the air and don't bend your back, you're going to get a lot of pitches up. And I think that's what he's been having a little problem with today.
Boy, that was a bullet right there to Gary Maddox. I also thought Trio might have flied out on ball 4. Seemed to reach out for it. Yeah, Lee Wire gives you a full description.
He's got a whole novel going back there.
That's outside ball 1. On the ground, shortstop Spire. Nice big hop for Chris. 2 down.
Now you look at Rogers the last couple of pitches, especially to Gary Maddox, when he was starting to get good location and keep the ball down and away. There's some American League scores, a 5-5 tie, Detroit and New York. Baltimore coming back and taking a 5-3 lead over Cleveland through 7.
DeCinces and Singleton have homered in the ball game for Baltimore. Palmer pitching against Ochinko. Fouled off. Larry Boa, who knocked in the Phillies' only run of the ball game, is at the plate. Parrish is inside the line at third and inside the bag at third. That's fouled off. And for the second time in the ball game, Lee Wire is kissed by a foul ball.
Well, you know, now that's something it's hard to explain. Lee Wire getting hit, and the illness that Lee had, I think he had something that was affecting his eye. He's come back, and he is now wearing glasses. The National League said that, and we're happy to see that. He's a good umpire. And, of course, when you're talking about an umpire and something that is going to affect your eyes, well, you've got to really worry. And I know the big guy was, but he's back and he's at him.
On the ground, second baseman Scott. And the inning is over as Steve Rogers turns the Phillies away in order in the bottom of the fourth inning after 4 at Bet Stadium. Montreal 2, Philadelphia 1.
Wait till you see how good you can be with Minolta XG1.
Ever since Tony got a Minolta XG1, he thinks he's a great photographer. Great. Okay.
Depend on the automatic Minolta XG1 to give you clear, sharp pictures. It does the work. You take the credit.
Ever since Tony got a Minolta XG1, he is a great photographer.
For a limited time, get an XG1 and get a $25 rebate from Minolta. See your dealer now for details.
Falcon Parcel Service in Mountain View, California runs their Chevy Chevette fleet 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So they know Chevette's durable enough to stay in service. To be in any business today, you've got to cover a lot of territory. And that's one of the reasons you'll see Chevy Chevette working all over the country. And starring in the Joey Chitwood Thrill Show, the 1981 Chevy Chevette. One tough son of a gun.
Now, the Firestone steel-belted Trax 12 radial. Trax 12 has special traction bars for pulling power in snow, but they're hidden in the Trax 12 tread for smooth, quiet turnpike driving. Long-lasting Trax 12 with traction you can see. Traction 12 months a year. Trax 12, Firestone's lowest-priced steel-belted white wall radial.
This telecast presented by authority of Major League Baseball, intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is prohibited.
Moreland Green.
Took me 19 years to learn to read that without taking a breath. We go to the top of the fifth inning. Here's Don Drysdale.
All right, Keith. Rodney Scott to lead it off, followed by Office, and then Dawson in that order, with Montreal on top by a score of 2-1. The Expos 2 runs on 3 hits. The Phils a run on 2 hits and 1 error. That's up high, ball 2. So Bob Walk has not been sharp whatsoever. A little murmur goes through the crowd. I think listening and watching this crowd here this afternoon, it makes one kind of stop and think a little bit. There's the strike. They've seen so many things go wrong with their Phillies over the last few years, getting beat in the playoffs by the Dodgers, and you just wonder what they're thinking about. That got a piece of Booney.
I suppose the word is sifted through the crowd, too, that the St. Louis football Cardinals are beating up on the Eagles 24-7.
Well, that's not going to make them too happy.
And that foul tip. That's Booney.
Now the count 2 balls and 2 strikes to Rodney Scott, starting today at .223 without a home run and 43 RBIs on the year. Tries to bunt his way on, fouls it away, and that is strike 3. Now there's one gone, and Roland Office comes on. He has walked and hit a sacrifice fly, had an RBI in the third. That gave Montreal their go-ahead run. The Expos with a run in the second, the Phillies matching them with a run in the second. Then Montreal pushing across to run in the third, and that's where we stand, 2-1 Expos. You can hear Lee Wire. As Keith said before, he will give you descriptions and accounts of every pitch. Put a mic on it. That is check swing and a foul on the third base side. The count 1-1. Center fielder Gary Maddox will play Office slightly in left center field, with Luzinski moving to the line and McBride about straight away in right. So they leave the gap in the alley in right center. 2 balls and a strike with 1 out. We're in the Expo 5th. On deck is Andre Dawson. Fly ball, shallow, left field. Luzinski did not see it right away, started back, and then comes on to make the catch in out number 2. Out 2 up, 2 down for the Expos in the 5th inning, and here's Andre Dawson. Had a single his last time at bat, has extended his hitting streak to 11 games, starting today at 302 with 15 home runs and 80 RBI.
Otis Anderson's a guy tearing up the Eagles today, isn't he? 2 touchdowns, 14 yards, and 37 yards.
24-7 St. Louis over Philadelphia. 0-1 to Dawson.
Glad I'm leaving. It might be a grouchy town tonight.
Oh, definitely. It'll be grouchy, especially if the score stays the way it is right now. That's fouled away and into the top deck, and the count is 0-2. Dick Williams just saying, just hold everything. Let's keep the show the same way it is right now. Boy, the Expos, if they can go home and pick up this game and go home a half a game in front. If you're going to look at edges, I would have to think that you would say, well, there's an edge. Good breaking pitch, and Dawson down swinging as the Expos have gone 1-2-3 for the first time today. And after 4.5 at the halfway mark, it's Montreal 2 and Philadelphia 1.
No matter how crowded an airport gets, people shouldn't be treated like cattle. So although Eastern is investing millions in new equipment, we won't let service get lost in the shuffle. Computers are great, but Pam Roger can make people feel like people. The A300 is our biggest new investment. It's quiet, fuel efficient, spacious. But if our crew doesn't make you feel comfortable, it won't matter what plane you're flying. I fly Eastern, but you don't have to. So we have to earn our wings every day.
It's tough to reach perfection, like pitching a perfect game. But Jockey brand underwear really comes close, with the comfort and quality of pure comb cotton. And real quality means real value. I always wear Jockey brand, either classic white or fashion colors. If I pitched the way Jockey makes underwear, I'd never lose a game.
Jockey, more than a name, a commitment.
Copier companies have been introducing small copiers with a very interesting claim.
It's just as good as a Xerox.
It's just as good as a Xerox. Then one day...
This compact copier is very versatile. It even copies on your own letterhead. It's inexpensive, but best of all...
I know. It's just as good as a Xerox.
It is a Xerox.
The Xerox 2600, the compact copier that really is just as good as a Xerox.
That's the story from Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. As we move to the bottom half of the 5th inning, the Philly 5th. Expos on top 2-1. It'll be Bob Boone, the pitcher spot Bob Walk, and then the top of the order in Pete Rose. Mickey Knowles still throwing in the bullpen, so we'll have to see what Dallas Green wants to do. Boone fly to right his first time at bat, and that was a little more than just an ordinary fly to right, because Roland Office came on and made a spectacular catch to save a run. The breaking pitch up high. 1 ball and no strikes to Booney, hitting .229, 9 home runs, 53 RBIs on the year. One ball, 1 strike. They give him the alley in right center field. Now Dawson moving over about straightaway, so it looks as though they will bunch him. Give him the lines and bunch him up the middle. 1-2 the count. This here might be one of the bigger umpiring crews in the National League.
They haven't missed many meals.
Outside of Dutch Brennan at second base. They got some mooses. It's foul right side out of play. Big Lee Wire behind home plate. Eric Gregg out at first base, and over at third is Harry Wendelstedt.
I know what Lee's doing. He's rehearsing. He's looking for our job. Moved to Hollywood, and all of a sudden he's working. Full narrative back at the plate.
Well, the breaking pitch down low, and the count 2-2.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
understand down in Houston that they are leading Cincinnati 4-3 in the 5th. Cincinnati right on the verge of being eliminated also. High chopper to Spire, plays it on the big hop. Cromartie, and there's one away. Now walk is being called back, and they will go to the bench. George Vukovic is coming out. Vukovic, left-hand hitting outfielder. They've got John Vukovic, a right-hand hitting infielder. But George is hitting .226. He has 7 RBIs on the year. I don't believe that they are related. We will get our man up in the booth here, Jerry Klein, who is feverishly searching.
He lost his book.
And he's going to blame me for it, and I gave it back to him. Now Vukovic, a left-hand hitting outfielder coming on, 1 gone in the Philadelphia 5th inning.
They're not related here, I can tell you that.
It is something to watch the panic striking across the face of Jerry Klein as he searches feverishly for his Philadelphia press guy. 1 ball and no strikes to Vukovic. Infield, outfield about straight away. On deck, the top of the order, the leadoff man, Pete Rose, as you look at Steve Rogers. 13-13 lifetime against Philadelphia. That ball by him.
George is from Oklahoma City. John is from Sacramento.
One ball, 1 strike, 1 out. And it's 2-1, Montreal. That's a good fastball. 1-2. Kind of a funny game. It's a minute. The crowd very reserved, Keith.
It's also not as big as expected.
Gets him, and he threw 3 fastballs by him. That's a 93-mile-an-hour fastball right there.
One thing about this Philadelphia crowd, now all of a sudden you can hear the growl starting. It's low level at the moment, but they're being heard.
It'll work into a crescendo before it's over. It can, and they're capable of doing it. There's Pete Rose. Pete is 0 for 2, has flied to center, and he's bounced to second. 2 outs in the Philadelphia 5th inning, 2-1 Expos. Pete, of course, a switch hitter, hitting from the left side off of the right-handed pitching of Steve Rogers. Rogers 1-2 against Philadelphia this year. Hit foul, look out. Left side, back up into the seats. He won his last start against Philadelphia in defeating their fine left-hander Steve Carlton. Carlton certainly in the running for the Cy Young Award. The 1-1 pitch. Right back and over the head of Rogers. There's Spire from the second base side to get him. Fine play by Chris. Now the Phillies are gone in the 5th inning. 1, 2, 3. That ball bouncing over the head of Rogers. Spire right there to make a fine play on the second base side, throws him out. And we'll be back with more baseball after this word from our local station.
This is ABC.
Champlain Valley Federal Savings can help put your youngster through college for only $75 a month.
The Perpetual Money Wheel shows you how.
How to have monthly income that lasts indefinitely.
The Perpetual Money Wheel shows you how.
How to get your mortgage money back and have your home too.
The Perpetual Money Wheel shows you how.
The Perpetual Money Wheel is yours free. Ask for it at any Champlain Valley office in Plattsburgh, Malone, Ticonderoga, and Champlain. Members FSLIC.
Pecor Auto Sales is Vermont's first and largest Datsun dealer because with Datsun, the quality shows. The 1980 Datsuns are America's most valuable cars, starting with the economical 210, economy that will make you feel rich. And the new Datsun 200 SX. It's going to drive you like you've never been driven because nothing in its class is in its class. The 1980 Datsun trucks, their job is to last, and they do. There's never a charge for dealer prep at Vermont's first and largest Datsun dealer, Pecor Auto Sales, Essex Junction.
Your fireplace can heat your entire home. That's right. With a Better & Benz airtight stove from the Hearthside shop, you can heat an average home right from your fireplace. The Model 701 insert heats 1,500 square feet, burns 12 to 15 hours on a single load of wood, features a 1/4 inch thick steel firebox, and has a full baffle. You'll love your fireplace again with a Better & Benz insert from the Hearthside shop, Plattsburgh, Lake Placid, and Malone.
Channel 22, WEZF-TV, Burlington.
The Philly fanatic and the second base umpire, Dutch Rennert. They have a little dancing contest, and then the first base umpire, Eric Gregg, comes in.
Eric enjoyed that because Dave Raymond, who's inside that funny-looking uniform, has been needling Eric all series.
Now there's the new pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies, Dickie Ray Knowles. He's 23 years of age, from Charlotte, North Carolina. He's a 6'2", 190-pounder. He will face Gary Carter, Warren Cromartie, and then Larry Parrish. Look out. That little fastball right in at the left elbow of Carter.
Boy, of all the guys you take out of the lineup, this is one that would, I think, just really hurt Montreal.
He's a lot of glue, Gary Carter. Two balls and no strikes. Knowles a record of 1 win, 4 losses, an ERA of 3.65, appearing now in his 46th game. Dickie Ray Knowles. Look out, another fastball tailing in on him.
Gary, phew, I'm glad I didn't get bit by that thing, because it took a run right at him. Look at that thing, run off inside.
Knowles throwing from out at the side, and of course that's going to make that ball tail into the right-handers so much more. Tail away from the left-handers. And he walks him on 4 pitches.
Two more finals of the National Football League, with Cleveland beating Tampa Bay 34-27. The Bucs made it close, and Miami beat New Orleans 21-16.
Cleveland, they're catching some fire, aren't they?
Charlie White's helping jack them up some. 2 touchdowns last week. Gives him a little more quickness coming out of the backfield, and they're using him quite a bit as a pass receiver.
A little conference at the mound, Keith.
Got to settle that youngster down.
Starrett, the pitching coach, Bob Boone, the catcher. Knowles, the pitcher, trying to settle him down a little bit. You're getting into the part of the ball game where you really can't afford to give Montreal any kind of breathing room. You got to keep them right there, keep them within striking distance.
Warren Brewster is now up in the Philadelphia pen.
And Warren Cromartie is the hitter. There's the strike. Cromartie 1 for 4 this afternoon. Check that, 1 for 2. He's lined to the second baseman, and he singled his last time at bat in the 4th inning. High chopper. They're only going to be able to get 1, but Carter actually does not make a good play whatsoever.
Yeah.
They cannot make the double play. Carter has got to go by the ball. He's going to go to second base, and he's in scoring position. As soon as he slowed down, Trio had a chance to make the play at second base, and wisely did so.
If Gary had been going full bore, he would have put some pressure on him, and I think made him make that play to first base, but he held up for the ball, and the lead man is gone. You see, he's slow getting away, held up for the ball. If he'd just put his head down and let her go, he would have been past the ball and forced the play at first.
Now there's 1 gone. Cromartie at first, and Larry Parrish, the hitter, who's 0 for 2, has struck out. He's flied to center field. So Gary just did not make a good play on that particular bouncing ball. Back through the middle. That's a base hit center field, and there's a big run right there.
There you go.
By slowing down and giving Trio a chance to make the play at second base, the Expos have had a run taken away from them. Cromartie moving up 90 feet to second base. Parrish on at first. And Chris Spire will step in. He has walked twice.
Houston Astros 5-3 over Cincinnati after 5 innings in the Dome down in Texas. Texas getting cooler down there now. It'll be almost tolerable next time we go back.
Well, we're talking with Duke Snyder. Of course, Duke is one of the broadcasters for the Montreal Expos, and he said it was a nice, cool 32 last night in Montreal. Starting to get there. Spire starting the day at 257.
The way you and I operate, we'll be the first people to get snowed out in the playoffs if Montreal's in it.
Hit off the end of the bat, but it's right there, and he can't see the ball. Maddox loses it in the sun. That's going to score a whole bunch. Here comes Cromartie. Here comes Parrish. The throw cut off, and Spire stops at third with a triple. 2 big runs for the Expos, and they lead it 4-1. And here is the first vocal sound of the afternoon.
Well, Gary just looking right into the sun, and he kept searching for it, searching for it. When he realized he couldn't find it, he turned away from it. And the crowd is on him. Now, you can see him searching for the ball. He is in position to make an easy catch. But once the ball came down to eye level, he just turned away from it and it was gone. And 2 runs come cantering across the plate to make it 4-1. You can see how hot the glare of the sun is.
Well, actually, what he's trying to do, too, is when he loses it, Keith, he's peeking in and out of that sun. He's trying to get a side saddle angle on it, and he couldn't because the ball never got high enough for him.
Right.
2 balls and no strikes, and Knowles has fallen behind Rogers. The infield is in as they look for a possible squeeze. The runner at third is Chris Spire. So you've got to give him a triple. 2 RBIs. Spire now with 31 RBIs on the year. And Montreal on top 4-1. He holds up. They appeal, and Eric Gregg says no. And I don't know whether Rogers hurt his left shoulder or not.
Tough way to fall behind 4-1, isn't it?
It is tough. There's the strike, and the count goes to 3-1. Well, at this time of day, that's what you're going to get. We talked about those sun fields out there, center and right field, and
can't go straight into the sun. You got to loop in at it and get it from the side to pick it up.
Back through the middle. That's a base hit. Now Steve Rogers helps the cause. Chris Spire scores 3 runs in for the Montreal Expos here in the 6th inning, and they have some breathing room as they lead it 5-1. And a chorus of boos ring out at the vet. There's Dallas Green. It appears that he might be going to the bullpen. It appeared that Philadelphia was going to get a break after Carter walked. Cromartie hit the high chopper to Trio. Carter slowed up, and they got him at second base. And the base hit by Parrish, but they've scored 3 times. A pitching change here in the top of the 6th, 5-1
My rototiller? In my shower?
You bought it. You keep it. The coffee urn in my bed.
You bought it. You keep it.
Buying can be a waste of money. Renting from Taylor Rental Centers saves money. Taylor rents practically everything for parties, industry and contractors, lawns and gardens, fixing and building, floor maintenance, and more.
Taylor Rental Center, Taylor.
Putting in more gas and putting out more money? A tune-up with Champion spark plugs can improve your fuel economy. It's like getting more gas in your tank and more money in your bank.
Tune up, America, to save gas.
Excuse me. I'm not the same crazy coach who used to storm around the sidelines yelling at the officials. I've learned to relax. and I drank light beer from Miller. Do you know that light's got 1/3 less calories than a regular beer? And listen to this. Light doesn't fill me up. Besides that, light tastes fantastic. Oh, sure, there are a lot of other beers around, and you can drink any one you want. But let me tell you this.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
As I was saying, I don't care what anybody else...
Saturday, ABC Sports presents the top collegiate football action in the nation. Check local listings for the game in your area. And on ABC's Wide World of Sports, an afternoon of champions. From the serene world of figure skating to the rugged outdoors of the Lumberjacks, and a post-fight report on the Ali Holmes Championship bout. All Saturday on ABC.
And it'll be regional weekend in college football on Saturday here on ABC. The big one will be UCLA with Freeman McNeil and Kenny Easley going into Columbus against Ohio State. And Art Schleister and company. Two very good teams. Squaring off, we'll tell you what the other regional games and telecasts will be as of tomorrow.
Well, Kevin Saucier, you see his record of 6-3, an ERA of 3.19, making his 39th appearance of the year. And we go to the top of the Montreal order, Jerry White. White turning around and hitting from the right side. Off of the left-handed pitching of Saucier. The runner at first is Rogers. 3 runs in for the Expos here in the 6th. They've broken it open and told a 5-1 lead. A high hopper. Schmidt high in the air, goes to Trio, and they get the force. Fine play by Schmidt. Almost got back on the wrong leg and couldn't get up in the air high enough.
Here you see Mike, whose fielding has improved, I think, every year. He's become a complete ball player. Goes right to the very top of his vertical reach, though, and takes the flip over to second to get Steve Rogers coming down. 2 down.
And we go to Rodney Scott. Now Jerry White at first, good speed. And Rodney Scott comes on. He will just turn it around and hit it from the other side. Boy, you think that isn't a great advantage when you've got leadoff hitters and players that can hit from both sides. They got him picked off. The throw, Rose's throw, they get him. A good move by Saucier, and Jerry White caught with his hand in the cookie jar. So if you're scoring, that goes 1-3. And the put out made by the shortstop Boa. So through 6. Make that through 5 1/2. It is now 5-1 Montreal.
Big horses coming up for Philadelphia in the bottom of this inning.
Introducing the 1981 Chevy Malibu Sports Sedan. A solid, sensible car with a 6-passenger interior, impressive V6 mileage, a comfortable ride, plus a little something sensible cars are not ordinarily known for. Chevrolet introduces the Malibu Sports Sedan. A 4-door with a difference. A 4-door with pizzazz.
You're the Pepsi generation, the spirit of today. And with every taste of life that's new, well, that Pepsi spirit shines right through. Catch that Pepsi spirit. Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in. Catch that Pepsi spirit. Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in.
The preceding was brought to you on behalf of Major League Baseball.
Now that's the story from Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, with the Expos pushing across 3 big runs in the 6th inning to take a 5-1 lead. In the Philadelphia 6, it'll be Bake McBride, Mike Schmidt, and Greg Luzinski.
I'll tell you, Don, Steve Rogers getting this far along now with that much of a cushion.
Now he's got to go right out and challenge him right now. Just go right at him. 0-2 the count. And with the 2 strikes, the third baseman Parrish will back up. Infield, outfield, straight away from McBride. He is 0 for 1, is fly to left and walked. Fouled back. Count remains 0-2. Montreal getting the most of their hits. Got 5 runs on 6 hits. Philadelphia 1 run on 2 hits. Loop foul over the Montreal dugout on the third base side. Of course, that fly ball that Maddox lost in the sun, a big key play in this ball game. 2-run scoring, followed by a base hit by the pitcher Rogers to score Spire. One ball and 2 strikes to count. Missing inside again, and the count goes even at 2-2. Rogers, 15 wins, 11 losses this year, but a good ERA of 2.95. Line drive and a fine play by the second baseman Rodney Scott to get him.
I'll go back to what I said about him at the very beginning. He's got to be one of the quickest baseball players around today. And that ball was just drilled. One little short, sharp hop. He flagged it and bangs it home.
Now there's one gone, and Mike Schmidt steps in. He has struck out and doubled. That was a key play at that stage of the ball game. The double, a ground rule double, bouncing over the wall in left center field.
Again, watch the quickness of Rodney Scott at second base. Now this ball hit very sharply, takes one short hop. And remember, on the rug, it accelerates sometimes if it has overspin. But he handled it very surely and threw him out on his knees.
Schmidt this year has kind of backed off the plate a little bit. If he had any sign of weakness whatsoever, you'd try and jam Schmidt like any power hitter. You don't want him to get those arms out and extend those arms. He's backed off a little bit, and now he feels as though that he does still have that good extension. He was jammed there. He just fought it off of him.
Greg Luzinski coming up before today's ball game. Don talked with Greg, talked about he's fielding well, but not hitting much lately.
I'd rather be the other way around, but you know, I've been able to make some catches in key situations for the ball club, and you know, it's been a trying year for myself, and if we win this thing, it'll make my year as well as everybody else that's on this ball club. And you know, the bat's just one of those things where I've got into some bad habits, maybe due to the knee injury, and you know, I've been trying to work my way out of them, but you know, with the pressure of a pennant race and the things of that nature, you know, you have to do it right there in the game.
Well, you know one thing, he's going to give you 100%. 1 ball and 1 strike to Greg. He has walked and he has scored the only Philadelphia run in the second inning. And he had a little humpback liner to the second baseman in the third. 1-2 the count. Look at that. Well, it's not going to be all that easy for New York after all. Detroit coming back and scoring a run in the 9th inning to defeat the New York Yankees 6-5. Baltimore on top of Cleveland 5-3. 2-2 make the run coming in the 10th inning for the Tigers to win. As you look at Dallas Green, the skipper of the Philadelphia Phillies, not too thrilled right now. Just wonder whether Luzinski, if he gets to where he gets pressing, just trying too hard to get things going. A lot of players can do that. Good breaking pitch, and the Phillies are gone 1-2-3 in the 6th inning. He's retired the last 10 men in a row, and through 6 it is 5-1 Montreal. That is here in Philadelphia. Right now, let's go down to Texas and check in with Houston and Cincinnati.
watching the Montreal-Philadelphia game, welcome to the Astrodome in Houston. Bob Uecker and Jim Lampley with you. The Astros lead by a score of 5-4 in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Cincinnati taking a 1-0 lead in the first. Leadoff walk to Collins and a run-scoring fly ball by Foster, but Houston came right back in the first. A leadoff home run by Morgan, run-scoring single by Cruz, and a base hit by Ashby to make it 3-1. Cabell low and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes now. Cincinnati picked up their 4th run. Correction. Houston in the second on a run-scoring fielder's choice by Terry Poole. Houston added 1 more in the 5th inning on a run-scoring base hit by Ashby. Cincinnati got 2 in the 5th on a 2-run shot by Ken Griffey with 2 men out, and then Ray Knight with a solo 2-run shot in the 6th. Solo 1-run shot, solo 2-run shot. How about that, folks? Ever see a solo 2-runner?
Strange things.
You did? You got a scoop, right? Called strike 3 to Cabell. Get one more look at this last fastball from Lacoste. Around the inside corner.
An inconsistent pitcher who throws some real good pitches. That one was an indication.
Terry Poole. 5-4 Astros. Inside he missed. That home run by Knight in the 6th inning. Nobody on, his 14th of the year. The Cincinnati scoring in the 5th and 6th after 2 were out. 1 ball, no strikes. Breaking stuff outside corner. 1-1. I got to remember that. A solo 2-run homer.
It's in your book.
The Astros trying to nail down the West. Andujar led it off with a walk here in the 6th inning. Inside corner, a strike. 1-2. There you see that San Diego score, 3-0 over the Dodgers in the 2nd. Dodgers trailing Houston by 2. Ball 1, strike 2. Got him. That ends it here in the 6th inning. So the Astros don't score. For those of you watching the Philadelphia-Montreal game, we send you back to Keith Jackson and Don Drysdale.
Well, back here at Veterans Stadium, 2 outs in the top half of the 7th inning. I'm Don Drysdale along with Keith Jackson. Happy you've joined us this afternoon on ABC's Sunday version of Major League Baseball, and we've got a good one going right here. Montreal on top of the Phillies, and of course we'll be coming your way with the American League and the National League playoffs. As you look at Andre Dawson, he is 1 for 3. He's bounced to short. He's singled and he struck out. Ah, man, I can't wait to get home to call Uecker.
2 runs, solo 2 runs.
2 balls and no strikes. The 2 outs, Rodney Scott bounced to the 3rd baseman Schmidt, and Roland Office has bounced to the shortstop. And of course that's Larry Bowa. There's a line drive, a 1-hopper. Bowa knocks it down and will just pick it up. And Dawson has, we will assume, a base hit.
Larry Bowa's lucky he's got all of his fingers after that bullet. It was really spanked. And again, remember, they're playing on the artificial surface here, and oftentimes that ball just simply accelerates coming off the rug, and Larry just couldn't handle it. It was in the webbing. It looked like, well, not the webbing, it was in the palm of the glove and just skidded right on out of there. It's a base hit.
Now the boos in the background, I think, are for the scoring as Gary Carter stands in. He's hit his 28th home run of the year. That was in the 2nd inning. He struck out in the 3rd, and he walked in the 6th. So Gary 1 for 2 this afternoon, and now with 96 RBIs on the year. They will keep Dawson close at first. O'Shea, a good move. There was evidence in the 6th inning when he picked Jerry White off. 40,305 at the vet. Well, the last 2 days they were in the 50s, and they dropped down 10 today. There's the move to first base. Rose, a little question on the call to Eric Gregg.
Yeah, the move over to first base by Saucher, the left-hander youngster. He's quick on his move over there. He pops that thing to Pete Rose. Pete throws the ball right into the runner. The umpire standing just behind the bag made the call.
There he goes, and the pitch is a one-hopper. Schmidt backhands foul territory, and Dawson had a jump and a half. He had second base stolen standing up.
If the Phillies do lose here this afternoon, it may affect the 4 games with the Cubs. They were anticipating if the Phillies could win here today, and there's a final from the NFL with Dallas beating Green Bay, that they could get up around 2.66 million in their attendance this year. A loss here today might trim that just a little bit. However, it has been a big year in attendance for the Phillies.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, everybody in the National League, and I think I was reading the other day in the paper, was the first time in history that everybody has gone over 1 million. And boy, Major League Baseball just continues on the upswing as far as attendance is concerned.
Well, it's a good buy. When you're looking around to spend your recreation dollar, entertainment dollar, it's still one of the best buys on the marketplace.
Yes, it is. And the National League this year with 2 great pennant races going right down to the wire. Keep Dawson honest again. The Phillies and the Expos in the East, and in the West, Houston and the Dodgers, and Cincinnati in trouble along with Pittsburgh. There's some scores. Look at San Diego. The Dodgers have only won 2 games in San Diego this year. Last night being their second, and the Padres on top 3-0 in the second inning. The Mets beat St. Louis 8-0.
That will mean the Cardinals will probably be a bunch of angry bears when they come in to play Montreal, too. And they've got some hitters on that St. Louis team.
Oh, they do. And you know that you talk to the Expos, and they are well aware of that power on that St. Louis ball club. I just can't understand that ball club being where they are.
Got off bad and never got over it.
Well, they pitch out, trying to think along with Dawson, and he's not going anywhere. They count 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs.
If they keep this up, you know what is going somewhere?
Yep.
Our plane.
Without us.
That's right. Brewster and Reed are now in the Philadelphia bullpen.
Warren Cromartie on deck. The 2-2 pitch to Carter. Hit high, left field. Luzinski looks up, and this ball is gone. Now Gary Carter hits his second home run of the afternoon, number 29 on the year, 2 more RBIs. That gives him 98 RBIs on the year, and we've got some breathing room here in the vet. Very quickly, it is now 7-1 Montreal.
Luzinski didn't even look at it. He just turned, well, he did. He just turned around. He didn't make a move on it. He just turned around and had a look because Gary Carter had all of it. He lifted high in the air and way back. And 2 home runs for the big catcher today.
Warren Cromartie fouls the first pitch down the first baseline. Philippe Alou making the play on the ball. You see a very happy Expo bench. Still a little reserved. They know there's a long way to go. Gary Carter. 1 ball, 1 strike. He got a high breaking pitch up over the plate. He got a high breaking pitch on his first home run. So he's got that swing grooved.
Well, the Reds have come back to tie Houston 5-5 in the 7th inning, and we've got a large paper airplane landing just beyond the pitcher's mound. Not bad. Came from the upper deck.
Well, they'll just leave it lay there. Larry Bowe isn't going to go pick it up. Pete Rose comes all the way over from his first base position to pick it up.
Pete says, save it for me. It's a good one.
Montreal in the top half of the 7th inning. foul right over the Philadelphia dugout. Cromartie this afternoon is lined to second. Singled and was on a fielder's choice and scored in the 6th. Bounce foul right side. Good breaking pitch gets him swinging, so the Expos are going in the 7th inning, but they pick up 2 more runs on 2 hits. And through 6 1/2, it's Montreal 7 and Philadelphia 1.
Take it easy. You know I was known for working long and hard during training camp. Why, even after my teammates were asleep, I'd still be out practicing my moves, and that's still important. So I drink light beer from Miller. Light tastes great. It's got 1/3 less calories than a regular beer, and the best thing is it's less filling. Because listen, I still train the same way as the old days. Practice, practice, practice.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
A super automotive value from Sears. Sears Heavy Duty 48 Shock. Designed for control and comfort. Now on sale at our lowest price of the year. Only $8.88 each. You save 30%.
No matter what you spend on tires, you know you can count on Sears. Sears Guardsman Bias Ply, our most economical tire.
As low as $22.88. At the home of the diehard.
You don't have to be a genius to change your own oil and filter and save yourself up to $10. Valvoline Motor Oil shows you exactly how quick and easy it is with step-by-step change instructions on the back of Valvoline cans. It's really quite simple. Once you get the hang of it, just see for yourself, then do for yourself. No wonder more and more drivers are changing their own oil and filters and changing to Valvoline. It's a smart way to save up to 10 bananas without a lot of monkeying around. Right, Val?
Well, we go to the bottom half of the 7th inning with Philadelphia needing 6 to tie. Montreal on top 7-1. And back for the play. Here's Keith.
It'll be a Manny trio, Gary Maddox and Larry Boa for the Phillies in the home half of the 7th inning. And Cincinnati has gone ahead of the Houston Astros 6-5 in the 7th inning. Astros had them down at one time, 4-1. Now it's Cincinnati up 6-5. Dodgers losing to the Padres early, 3-0 out on the West Coast. And Steve Rogers, trying to win his 16th game of the season, gets a strike on the corner to Manny Trio, who's 0 for 2 in the ball game this afternoon. Sun now much less of a problem, but the Sun figured mightily in that big 3-run explosion for the Montreal Expos in the 6th inning. Steve Rogers, who has not been terribly sound all day, he's struggled. He's taken a lot of deep breaths and reached around in his memory to find the little moves that have made him one of the National League's premier pitchers along the way today. But with that big cushion, all he's got to do is come right at him. He's pitched a 2-hitter so far in the ball game. Count goes to 2-1. Steve's had a very good September. That is hit high in the air and out of play. The Pittsburgh Pirates, the World Series winners of a year ago, eliminated from the chase in the National League East. And that ball is hit out into left field for Jerry White. And you've got one out. Now we'll have Gary Maddox coming to the plate. And again, Steve Rogers walking around back of the mound, shaking his head, still not satisfied with what it is he's doing out there.
I believe he's a little bit disgusted with his mechanics, Keith. We talked about that earlier. He's just not happy. Just kind of still a little bit like a Thomas Edison out there this afternoon. Still kind of experimenting a little bit, trying to get himself back in the right groove. RX Maddox in. Maddox strokes it into left center field for his first base hit of the afternoon. As he turns at first with speed on the bases, he's 1 for 3. Third base hit off Steve Rogers. Well, the crowd picks it up a little bit. But the Phillies
But I don't sense an aggressive attitude right now.
They're a little down. Yeah, they're down a little bit because of the score. You can certainly appreciate that, being down by 6. Or Montreal
even
leading
before the
7-1.
game started
But
today,
before the game, you're right. It didn't seem there wasn't a big spark there. I don't know what it was.
Neither does Dallas Green. And it's one of the things that I'm sure has perplexed him. And it's perplexed the followers of the Phillies for some time as well. I suspect those temples have grayed a little more as this season is worn on.
That's what managing will do for you.
To the right side, flag down by Cromartie. Base runner holds. Easy flip over to second base. And Maddox is out of there. Why in the world wouldn't he have been running?
Well, on that particular play right there, it's a good thing they didn't have any play back at first base because they weren't going to get anybody. Rogers forgot to cover. And after Cromartie, when he tried to reach in and find a handle, he couldn't the first time or so, and they just get the lead man at second base.
2 out, and here's Bob Boone with Boa on first. On the corner. Final football score. The St. Louis Cardinals jump on the Philadelphia Eagles 24-14, their first loss of the season. And the Phillies right now being boxed around by the Expos 7-1. And that's foul ball. Greg Gross is in the on-deck circle. And if Bob Boone can get aboard, then Gross, who has hit Rogers better than anyone else in the Philadelphia dugout, will come out to take his swings. That's high foul ball to the right side, going out of play. Cincinnati has now gone ahead 7-5 over the Houston Astros. Yesterday, a special moment for the Astros and their baseball faithful as J.R. Richard made an appearance at the Dome. Boxed around and blocked by Gary Carter at the plate to hold the base runner Boa at first. 2 down. And the Phillies up at the bottom of the 7th inning. It's really been a pretty day in Philadelphia. Weather-wise. Pitch to Boone. Foul. Why does that thing make such a big sound?
Well, I don't know. I guess the only thing that happens, they've got part of the crowd mic down there maybe, and that's what really picks it up. But it does jar you.
That's hit to the shortstop. Chris Fire throws him out. The inning is over. They leave a man, Boa, on base. And after 7 innings of play, the Montreal Expos, 7 runs, 8 hits, and no errors. Philadelphia 1-3-1. We'll be back with more baseball after this word from our local station.
This is ABC.
Champlain Valley Federal Savings can help put your youngster through college for only $75 a month.
The Perpetual Money Wheel shows you how.
How to have monthly income that lasts indefinitely.
The Perpetual Money Wheel shows you how.
How to get your mortgage money back and have your home too.
The Perpetual Money Wheel shows you how.
The Perpetual Money Wheel is yours free. Ask for it at any Champlain Valley office in Plattsburgh, Malone, Ticonderoga, and Champlain. Members FSLIC.
Dorian Suit, where selection earned its reputation, where quality is never in doubt. Dorian Suit, the spot for 3-piece summer suits, sport jackets, and slacks. And the great save is on now. You'll never be disappointed when you shop at Dorian Suit. No man we can't fit. Sizes up to 64. Alterations free on the spot. Top it and bottom it with sport shirts and shoes, dress shirts and ties. The great save is on now at any of Dorian Suit's 5 locations.
Don't let a tire blowout put you behind schedule. Call Lambert Tire's 24-hour emergency hotline for the Farm Tractor Emergency Squad. They'll get right at it. It's just one of many services Don and Diane Lambert offer for tires, front ends, brakes, mufflers, and shocks for the farm, for cars, and for trucks. Lambert's has a computer wheel alignment system, the most accurate available. They'll balance tires, inspect them, and replace them if necessary. Lambert Tire has it all at discount prices. Visit them soon in Morrisville, Vermont. WECF-TV, Burlington, Vermont.
We've got the fourth Philadelphia pitcher, Ron Reed, warming up in a 7-1 Montreal lead. Right now, let's go back to Houston. Check on that ball game with Jim Lampley and Bob Uecker.
And again, for those of you watching Montreal at Philadelphia, welcome to the Astrodome in Houston. Bob Uecker and Jim Lampley with you. The Reds have come back to take the lead, scoring 3 times here in the 7th inning. A 1-out triple by pinch hitter Paul Householder. Run-scoring base hit by Collins. Run-scoring double by Griffey. Run-scoring single by Dave Concepcion. And then a base hit by George Foster. Dan Dreesen flied to center for the 2nd out, and that brought on Frank Licordi. Those 3 base hits came against left-hander Joe Sambito, and Licordi is the 4th pitcher used this afternoon. Frank Licordi. There's Dave Concepcion at 3rd. And the runner at 1st is George Foster. Cincinnati with a 1-0 lead in the 1st inning. Houston came back with 3 on a home run by Morgan. Run-scoring single by Cruz and a run-scoring base hit by Ashby. Cincinnati with 2 in the 5th inning on a 2-run shot by Ken Griffey. Then Ray Knight hit a home run in the 6th inning. And Cincinnati has scored 3 times here in the 7th to lead 7-5. Ray Knight. 2 men out. Licordi. Breaking ball that hangs inside.
And the bullpen, which had been so effective for Houston throughout September, suddenly fails them here as Andujar and Sambito have given up 4 runs since Porsche exited after being hit on the leg by the line drive off the bat of Concepcion.
Gotta wonder, Jim, how long Porsche would have stayed in the game anyway. He had given up 3 runs on 4 hits before Concepcion drilled that line drive off his left kneecap. That brought on Andujar. Joe Nolan talking things over with Ray Knight. The Reds in a must-win situation. 2 men out. 3 runs in for Cincinnati. They lead 7-5. They've banged out 10 base hits. Curve. Strike. Licordi is making his 52nd appearance for Houston. 1-8, lost 4. Excellent ERA, 2.73. The pitch in the air and out of play by Ray Knight. It's still a ball and 2 strikes. Dave Concepcion, the runner at 3rd, and at first base, George Foster. Houston taking the first 2 games in this series 2-0. Both games shutouts. In the air, shortstop Craig Reynolds with an easy play, and that ends the Cincinnati 7th inning. They score 3 times to take a 7-5 lead. And for those of you watching Montreal, Philadelphia, we send you back to Keith Jackson and Don Drysdale.
All right, guys, thank you very much. We've got 2 out. Larry Parrish called out looking. Chris Spire a single to right center field. Steve Rogers trying to bunt, fouled on the 3rd strike. He's out. Now Jerry White is up with Spire on deck in a 7-1 ball game. The Expos leading the Phillies. Ron Reed, the 4th Philadelphia pitcher, comes outside for ball 1 to White. White on the afternoon has scored 1 of the Expo runs. The 2nd, he struck out looking. He's walked. He's hit a fly ball to center field, and he got himself kicked off. First base. On the corner for a strike. That evens it at 1-1 with 2 out. Big Ron Reed. Walk started. Knowles followed. Sauché, now Reed. Foul back. Walk is the pitcher of record. All the Phillies. His record will drop to 10-7 unless the Phillies come up with some thunder and lightning. And Steve Rogers, if he hangs on, will be 16-11. But more importantly than anything else, the Montreal Expos are going to come off this road trip 7-6 if they win today and go home with a half-game edge in the Eastern Division of the National League. And play the rest of their games at home. 3 against the Cardinals and 3 against the Phillies next weekend. And that's fouled off the foot. Detroit coming back in the 10th inning to beat the Yankees today 6-5, and Baltimore rallied to come from behind to beat Cleveland 5-3. The magic number in that chase 3. Boston beating Toronto 7-3, and Minnesota beat Kansas City 8-7. Jim Rice had his 22nd home run in the Boston win, a 3-runner, and apparently the foul ball was off the calf of the leg. Twins have now won 9 straight. 9 straight. That's a strong finish for them. Here's a look at that foul ball that bit Jerry White.
You know, it's hard to figure out how he got hit in the back of the leg. He did. There you see. He spins that front foot. And consequently, that ball actually was behind, and when he fouled it off, you could see how he got it in the back of the leg.
Pops up foul, comes sailing back up on the roof area. Back to the press box.
Well, you talked about Minnesota, and you notice that Johnny Gorel has been hired to manage the Twins for the 1981 season. Of course, Gorel becoming the Twins manager when Gene Mauch resigned.
Kansas City's going to go into the American League Championship Series kind of flat. They've lost 8 straight.
Well, and there's grumbling going on in Kansas City, too, Keith. Some of the players are saying right now and coming out and being a little openly critical of their first-year manager Jimmy Fry, saying he's not giving them a rest.
High, high, high. Fly ball to the right side. Bake McBride makes the catch, and the inning is over, so Chris Spires stays on first base as the Expos strand another one. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th with Montreal leading 7-1.
I told my Allstate agent I can't afford life insurance. Well, John, don't put marbles in the penny wrappers. He told us about one of Allstate's affordable life plans. For a 28-year-old, $50,000 of decreasing term insurance for about $11 a month. These pennies could pay for a couple of months. Well, John...
Well, you put your pennies in my marble jar.
Ask about Allstate Life's affordable life plans. You're in good hands with Allstate.
The 3 best-selling small-size pickups in America. They may seem alike, but check the facts. There's a big difference. Fact, Chevy Love with standard transmission has better mileage ratings than Toyota or Datsun. 25 EPA estimated MPG, 35 highway. Fact, Love's cargo box is longer than Toyota or Datsun. And you'll be impressed with Love's big 1,635-pound payload capacity, too. Tough little Chevy Love. It's big where it counts. And that's a fact. Chevy Love, built to stay tough.
Everybody's doing it.
Everybody's doing the ham and cheese. The sensational sandwiches from 7-Eleven.
Everybody's doing it.
Yeah, 7-Eleven's got 2 of them. The large ham and cheese that's hot, the small one that's not. One's hot, one's not.
Ham and cheese at 7-Eleven.
Everybody's doing the ham and cheese, the good time sandwiches at 7-Eleven.
Tomorrow on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football, live, the Denver Broncos battle the New England Patriots in a gridiron grudge match. Live tomorrow on ABC.
I think among the factors to be considered in that New England-Denver game is that Denver really got to get themselves organized because those San Diego Chargers are making such noise. Of course, Oakland lost today, so that's got to be somewhat in the favor of the Denver Broncos. Here's Greg Gross coming up now to hit in the pitcher's spot. And as I said a little while ago, that of all the Phillies, he's hit better against Steve Rogers than anybody else. Then we'll have at the top of the order Rose and McBride. This is the home half of the 8th inning with the Expos sitting on a 7-1 lead and Rogers working on a 3-hitter. At this point, ball 1 to the pinch hitter, Gross. 1-1.
You know, the Phillies really haven't been wearing anybody out, Keith. In the month of September, there's a team they're only hitting .238. They just got a lot of fine pitch ball games and some timely hitting.
Now, this is also the time of the year when that old truism about baseball, pitching is 70% of it, really starts to show up.
That might be a bare minimum.
2-1 pitch coming now to Gross. Foul back. Larson and Lurch. Lurch left-hander, Larson right-hander in the bullpen for Philadelphia. They've already used 4 pitchers this afternoon. Steve Rogers trying to go all the way for Montreal. That's beat foul. At the plate as Gross turned to move away from the pitch inside, hit his bat. Rogers on the season, 15-11, making his 36th appearance, and he's pitched 13 complete games. That's punched up the middle, base hit.
We were talking about how Gross can hit. And that's something right there that they've got to start doing. They've got to try and get something back on the go track. But he's had great success against Rogers over his career.
That's the 4th base hit off Steve this afternoon. It'll bring up Pete Rose. Rose today 0 for 3. Phillies with the leadoff man on, bottom of the 8th inning. Changed on it, missed with it. Ball 1. Beat like a boxer up there. He punches and jabs at you. And the fastball is high and away. And Rogers again comes down off the mound, walks around. Two balls, no strikes to Pete.
There's got to be one thing that's on the back of Steve Rogers' mind. Whether it pops in and out very soon, we'll just have to wait and see. But he has had 3 games this year where he has not been able to hold a 7-2 lead. And one was 2 starts ago against the St. Louis Cardinals. And now all of a sudden I get a little antsy down in that Montreal bullpen.
Strike in, 3-1 now on Pete.
And of course that always sticks out in a manager's mind. They're always well aware of certain little statistics like that. And it appears that Dick Williams is going to get somebody up and throwing.
All 4. Here comes McBride now, and here comes Galen Cisco on his way to the pitching mound to have a talk with Steve Rogers. Stan Bonson, right-hander, a veteran in the Montreal bullpen, starting to warm up. Woody Fryman, the venerable left-hander, tobacco farmer yesterday, got the save and struck out Lonnie Smith to end the ball game. The American League East now reflects New York's losing and Baltimore's winning. And you see the Yankees have 4 at home, only 2 away, while Baltimore must play 4 on the road and have 3 at home remaining. Jim Palmer was a winner today for Baltimore. Here is Bake McBride 0 for 2. Well, he could endear himself to the Philly folks after that moment of sun play back in the 6th inning. Gross at second base, Rose at first base, nobody out, bottom of the 8th. 7-1 Expos. Phillies trying to make a move here against Steve Rogers. And is getting up a little bit now. Cincinnati's added another run over Houston to make it 8-5 Cincy over Houston in the 8th inning. The Dodgers have come back in the 4th inning to tie San Diego 3-3. Well, it'll be a big win for L.A. if they can come back and win today. Well, Cincinnati holds on against Houston. There's a strike.
Well, that would be, because I believe the Dodgers just one game back. And, of course, we've talked about the weekend series here quite a bit, where the Philadelphia Phillies will end the season at Montreal. And, of course, you haven't been keeping up and you don't know what's happening. It's the Houston Astros at Dodger Stadium for the final 3.
And those are our games next Sunday right here on ABC. That ball is hit down the left field side, dropping fair ball, heading for the corner. And here comes Gross. He comes around to score. Rose turns and holds at third. It's a double for McBride.
Well, the pitch was up, and Keith had been talking about Rogers getting the pitches up. He got a high breaking pitch, just goes to the opposite field, hits it down in the corner, and by the time White can run it down, a run in. Rose is at third. At second base is McBride, and all of a sudden it is now in that situation a 7-2 ball game. And Mike Schmidt will be the hitter.
He's been able to control Mike Schmidt pretty much today. Mike with a ground rule double, bounced over the left center field wall, struck him out looking, and got him on a tap back to the mound. But this is the man who has knocked across 113 runs this year. He has hit 44 home runs. If he jerks a big one here, it's a 7-5 ball game. Rogers is up high, ball 1. Monson works with purpose in the Montreal bullpen. Book on Schmidt. Crowd him. Keep it inside. High fly ball, playable, left field. The center fielder coming over and calls off the left fielder, Andre Dawson, as Rose tags and comes in from third.
Well, that's all right. Dawson has got the better arm of the two. The center fielder is the captain out there. He takes charge. He's in a better position to make the throw to third base. That's where the play is going to be. So you just let the man have it.
It is now a 7-3 ball game. And here is Greg Luzinski. He is hitless in 2 trips, walked once. Hit to left fielder Jerry White, coming in, makes the catch, and hurries the throw back in to hold McBride at second base. That's 2 out.
That was a tough play, and it looked to me just a routine play, but it was not. Luzinski hit that ball, and he hit it down on the hands. And, of course, that's a big thing right there that will fool any outfielder. When you get that big, strong hitter standing up there, and then turning around and turning the bat loose with a big swing, and you get jammed or something like that, because White started back, but then with his speed, he was able to come on and make the catch.
Manny Trio up now with 2 out and McBride at second base. 2 runs across in the home half of the 8th inning. High chop, third baseman Parrish comes in, throws, got him. Close play at first.
They're going to have an argument on that, as the first base coach is really hot. And here's Dallas Green, and you think he isn't hot. He's gone, and he's bumping Eric Gregg, and he is really hot. That was a great play by Parrish. And I'll tell you, Dallas Green, he can get the temper up a little bit.
He's also frustrated.
It's also going to cost him.
Yes. All right. Phillies get 2. It's a 7-3 ball game. Back after this message and a word from our local station.
Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special.
I thought you were taking us to dinner.
I am.
Okay, where is it?
You're standing on it.
What? Hey, a clam bake.
I suppose you got Lowenbrow, too.
Yep.
You want the taste of a truly great American beer. Tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
Bill, that was fantastic.
Hey, I only take my friends to the best places.
This is ABC.
Your fireplace can heat your entire home. That's right. With a Better & Benz airtight stove from the Hearthside shop, you can heat an average home right from your fireplace. The Model 701 insert heats 1,500 square feet, burns 12 to 15 hours on a single load of wood, features a 1/4 inch thick steel firebox, and has a full baffle. You'll love your fireplace again with a Better & Benz insert from the Hearthside shop, Plattsburgh, Lake Placid, and Malone.
Rowell Brothers in Hardwick has Ford Power, agricultural tractors, industrial tractors, lawn and garden equipment, plus a large line of other equipment to meet the needs of the farmer and do-it-yourselfer. It's worth a visit to see Rowell Brothers' inventory of used equipment, too. Every piece of equipment is backed by Rowell Brothers' highly qualified service department and fully stocked parts department. Come visit the farmer's friend for all your equipment needs and everyday needs, tools, oil, lubricants, and much more at Rowell Brothers in Hardwick, Vermont, where your satisfaction is a necessity.
In Burlington, WEZF-TV, Channel 22.
Inning-ending play at first base.
Well, first of all, you've got to give Parrish all the credit in the world. That high chopper, he cuts across on a short hop, the throw, and there it is. So we'll watch it from one more angle. Nice and easy. That's almost, I'd say, they might have had a good reason to bicker. Dallas Green is gone.
Bicker they did. Randy Lurch making his 28th appearance of the year in a year that has been sort of a disaster for him. He's 4-14, a 5.05 earned run average. He started 22. He's completed 2. He'll be pitching to Rodney Scott, Roland Office, and Andre Dawson. A 7-3 Montreal lead in the top of the 9th inning. And Lurch is in with a strike. Inside, 1-1.
Randy's having a lot of trouble getting his breaking balls over this year, and of course when you do that, you know, they're just sitting back on his fastball. He's having trouble with left-handers, and he shouldn't do that.
He's coming right at Scott, switch hitter, going from the right side against the left-hander. That's outside. 2-2. Ball is hit out into right center field for Gary Maddox. 1 out. Coming up Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports, world figure skating champions from Dortmund, West Germany. We'll have special performances by the world champions and the U.S. champions, Linda Fratiani and Charles Stickner, the World Lumberjack Championships from Hayward, Wisconsin, and a post-fight report on the heavyweight bout between Muhammad Ali and Larry Holmes. High fly ball hit out into left field. Greg Luzinski makes the catch. And 2 down. NCAA football this coming Saturday, regional weekend. UCLA goes into Ohio State to test the Buckeyes. Both of them undefeated. Both have been very impressive so far on the season. We saw the Buckeyes wrap up Minnesota rather handily a couple of weeks ago. Well, we'll see what they can do against the UCLA Bruins. We'll have other regionals to be announced tomorrow. Andre Dawson is up there. Andre today has 2 hits and 4 trips to score a run. Well, he tried to unload on that one. There's Larry Parrish, who made the big play to end the 8th inning. He was a bang-banger at first base. Sharp shot left field, base hit, Dawson. He's got 3 for 5. That will bring up Mr. Poison for the Phillies in this ball game. Gary Carter, the catcher, who has hit 2 home runs, his 28th and 29th, and knocked in 3.
Catcher Gary Carter.
Pitch to Carter is high and away from Lurch. ABC News, World News Tonight, coming up over many of these stations since our ball game is completed. Sunday edition. Lurch comes and bends it off inside. 2 balls and no strikes. Dawson at first, 2 out. Rogers able to turn the Phillies away when they threatened to really jump on him in the bottom of the 8th. Change speeds, had Carter out in front. 2-1. For the Phillies, Maddox, Boa, Boone scheduled in the bottom of the 9th inning. Montreal trying to win the series 3-gamer here in Philadelphia and go home a half game in front of the National League Eastern Division. And they will finish with 3 against St. Louis, middle of the week, and 3 against the Phillies Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Lurch is on the corner to make the count 2-2 on the Expos catcher. Philadelphia with 4 games, the Cubs, Monday through Thursday, and then off to Montreal. That ball is looped, hit it off the handle, and it's going to drop for a base hit. It gets past Maddox. And here comes Dawson around third, coming to the plate. The throw not in time. And it's 8-3 Montreal. The ball was hit off the handle to give you an idea just how strong Gary Carter is. See, he was jammed with a pitch. He just muscled a little pop fly out behind the shortstop. The center fielder, Maddox, this time could not get to it. Ball bounced past him over his head, and the left fielder, Luzinski, had to back it up. In the meantime, Dawson was running all the way and came home with run number 8 for the Expos. It'll be a single for Carter. Run batted in. That's 4 on the day for him, and Carter goes to second on the throw, and the batter, Cromartie, pops it up to the infield. Pete Rose, the first baseman, makes the catch, and the inning is over. So we'll go to the bottom half of the 9th inning with the Montreal Expos leading the Philadelphia Phillies by a score of 8-3.
Oh, Mr. Goodwrench, can I get a tune-up?
Sure can.
What's that?
Your written estimate.
Mr. Goodwrench wants you to know in advance just about how much the job will cost. He has the GM training and tools available to do the job right.
Gee, that's reasonable.
Mr. Goodwrench knows our customers don't like surprises.
Keep that great GM feeling.
Where Mr. Goodwrench works.
With genuine GM parts.
You're the Pepsi generation, the spirit of today.
And with every taste of life that's new, well, that Pepsi spirit shines right through. Catch that Pepsi spirit. Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in. Catch that Pepsi spirit. Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Trouble spots like these are what separate Gillette Atra from all ordinary razors. The reason? The Atra pivot. It keeps the blades at a perfect shaving angle, giving you a better shave than any razor that can't pivot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many more reasons do you need? Gillette Atra, the pivot makes it better.
Gillette, when it comes to shaving, we give you the edge.
Gary Maddox, Larry Boa, and Bob Boone are the scheduled hitters for the Phillies in the home half of the 9th inning. Maddox is coming out to face Steve Rogers, trying to go the distance for the 14th time and win his 16th game against 11 losses. Bob Walk absorbing the loss, unless there's a very dramatic change, to make his record of 10-7. you haven't heard, joined us late. Cincinnati came from well back and was leading when last I heard over Houston in the Dome in Texas by an 8-5 margin. While the Dodgers were even with San Diego out west at 3-3, and the Pittsburgh Pirates will have been eliminated as of this day, with Montreal beating the Phillies. Of course, they haven't slammed the door quite yet. That foul makes it strike one on Gary Maddox. Maddox in the ball game is 1 for 3. 2 strikes. That time, Steve Rogers changed speeds and had him out in front. And bounces, and Carter blocks it. In winning, if they do today, Montreal comes off a long, arduous road trip on the plus side, 7-6. And will take a 1-game edge over the Phillies in the seasonal series. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Maddox. High fly ball into right center. And it is Roland Office. 1 out. Been kind of a tough day on the Philadelphia sports fans. The Eagles were defeated by the St. Louis Cardinals 24-7 in the NFL, the Eagles' first loss of the year. And the Phillies losing first place in the Eastern Division of the National League. Larry Boa, you see his story on the day. He knocked in Philadelphia's first run. That ball is hit out into center for Andre Dawson coming in. 2 down. Remember, ABC News World News Tonight, Sunday edition, coming up right after the ball game over most of these stations. Now part of the crowd of 40,305 really moving out of the ballpark to give a 3-game series total attendance of a little better than 144,000. The Phillies heading in toward $2.5 million for the year. That's a high fly ball out into left field. Jerry White comes in, makes the catch, and the Montreal Expos have defeated the Philadelphia Phillies by a score of 8-3, and they have moved back into first place in the National League Eastern Division by a half game. The winning pitcher is Steve Rogers, his 14th complete game. His record is now 16-11. The losing pitcher is Bob Walk. His record is now 10-7. Walk pitched the first 5 innings of the ball game and became the pitcher of record. So that's the final, 8-3. Montreal back after this message and a word from our local station.
You want a show-stopping looker, right?
Chevy Camaro.
You'd like a road-hugging cooker.
Yeah. Chevy Camaro.
You know what's coming down. What? Cost ever rising, non-tantalizing, refueling blues. You need a plenty MPGer.
Huh? Chevy Camaro.
A fuel-sipping V6 with manual trans.
Chevy Camaro.
Chevy Camaro. The hugger is making performance affordable.
Here's to good friends.
Beautiful. Hey, you guys ready for this?
She's all ours.
I can't believe it. You guys want to hear what I had to give up to get this baby?
Not again.
No, I got a better idea.
We're going nice. When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
We may have just gotten a boat, but we've always been a great crew.
Monday, watch an elephant use a man as a footstool on That's Incredible.
The Sony line is in at Barkham's TV and Furniture Center. Sony Trinitrons, noted for superb quality, are available in numerous styles and sizes. 26-inch consoles with options like dual speakers, digital clocks, and casters. Economical 19-inch sets. 50-inch color projection TV systems. Betamax video cassette recorders, standard or portable, so you can make your own TV programs with a Sony video camera. And everything is backed by factory-trained technicians and the Barkham family who've owned and operated the company for 16 years. TV never looked better. Barkham's in Chateauguay, Champlain, and their new location in the North Country Shopping Center.
Introducing Vermont Woodsheds by Panel Fab, attractive centers for outdoor activities and the perfect answer to needed storage space. These unique, handsome buildings will enhance the beauty of any backyard. 22 options are available and include a tool shed, a handsome cabana, a stock shed, and a double-door utility building. All packages are complete except for nails. If you prefer, construction can be arranged. Add beauty and utility to your grounds with Vermont Woodsheds. Get details at any one of these fine dealers.
Big toe on my right foot. It was, I don't know what I did to it. They call it turf toe, and it was a strain, and so they kind of had to deaden it a little bit. And it's funny when you're out there standing on a nub that you can't feel. Sometimes you don't really have a good rhythm.
Well, I know one thing. I know there's a lot of people that are just tickled to death for you. We're happy. We're going to see you next week regardless, and congratulations on a big win this afternoon, and thank you.
Thank you, Don.
Okay, right now let's go back upstairs to Keith Jackson.
And let's update the standings in the National League East. You see Montreal back on top now. They're even in the loss column, and the Expos sit on a 1/2 game margin over the Phillies. Montreal 6 games to play, and all of them are at home. The Philadelphia Phillies will play the Cubs 4 times here at Vet Stadium and then finish in Montreal with 3 games. We'll be right back with Dick Williams and Gary Carter.
Wait till you see how good you can be with Minolta XG1.
Hey, you want to see some terrific pictures?
Depend on the automatic Minolta XG1 to give you clear, sharp pictures. It does the work. You take the credit.
Yeah,
Hey, do you want to see some terrific pictures? No.
Yeah, look.
That's lovely. For a limited time, get an XG1 and get a $25 rebate from Minolta. See your dealer now for details.
Home energy bills have gone sky high, and that's the good news. The bad news, they're expected to double again in the next 10 years. But you can fight back. Get up in your attic and add another layer of Owens Corning fiberglass insulation on top of the insulation you already have. Put your house in the pink. See your dealer or contractor for more Owens Corning fiberglass insulation now.
Well, I know there's a very happy manager in Dick Williams, and there's a doubly happy catcher in Gary Carter. Gary, you got 2 breaking pitches that were up a little bit. I said upstairs, I said, you've got that swing groove.
Yeah, I changed my stance about 2.5 weeks ago, John, and, you know, I feel so much more comfortable at the plate. And, of course, if there's any time to have a streak happen, it's right now, you know, especially when we need it. And this whole team has just been playing outstanding this entire year, and I give all these 25 guys 100% credit.
And, Dick, you know, when you look at the first game, you got beat the first game in a tough ball game, 2-1. You had your back against the wall when you're facing Carlton yesterday, but you come back and they bounced back before, and you did it again, too, here.
Well, we had our ace going today. We beat their ace. They couldn't beat ours. And like Gary said, we've been playing just outstanding ball, sound fundamental baseball. And his bat got hot. Our number 8 hitter, his bat got hot. It's been hot for this whole road trip. And we're on our way, we think. We're quite confident. Not overconfident, but confident.
Well, I know one thing, that it's going to be a great series coming up there, and it could all go down to the last 3, but at least you're going home after a long trip, and you're going home a half in front, and you can't ask for more than that.
No, we can't. If we knew this was going to happen on this road trip, we'd have been quite happy, because hitting all the cities in our division, 5 of them, being gone, playing 13 days. One of the games in our park we had to play back in New York to start the trip off. They fought well, and I'm proud of every one of them.
Well, Gary Carter and Dick Williams, we're going to see him next week, and we're going to go right back up to Keith Jackson.
All right, final score, Montreal 8, Philadelphia 3, Expos on top in the East by a half game. Join us tomorrow for ABC's NFL Monday Night Football. New England Patriots hosting the Denver Broncos live at 9 Eastern Time. The executive producer of ABC Sunday Afternoon Baseball is Roone Arledge. Coverage of today's game produced by Dennis Lewin, directed by Chet Forte. Our technical director, Bill Morris. Our associate director, Peter Lasser. Join us next Sunday for ABC Sunday Afternoon Baseball over most of these ABC stations. The Philadelphia Phillies against the Montreal Expos, or the Houston Astros against the Los Angeles Dodgers at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. ABC Sunday Afternoon Baseball has been brought to you by Chevrolet and your Chevy dealer with Chevette, Monza, Citation, and the new Monte Carlo. Chevy's up ahead for 1981. And by Lowenbrau, when you want the taste of a truly great beer, there's really only one. Tonight, let it be Lowenbrau. Travel arrangements made through and promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United flies more people to Hawaii than any other airline. That's what friendly skies are all about. The Montreal Expos are happy. After a big win today, this is a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.
Marilyn. No one will ever forget her face. But what was the real story of her life, her loves, her marriages?
I'm getting a terrible reputation.
For the first time on television, the truth behind the myth.
I had an affair.
I know. Marilyn, the untold story, tonight.
Wild Kingdom, tonight at 6:30 on TV 22.
At Century 21, we're making things happen.
When we outgrew our house, our Century 21 agent found us this home with an assumable mortgage.
We had to sell when Bill was transferred. I was able to show them the benefits of seller financing.
Buying or selling real estate? Call your Century 21 agent today for this booklet, Alternative Financing. At Century 21, we're making things happen.
And we'll give our word to you.
I just can't see anybody doing something like that to a baby.
Inside this woman's prison lies an incredible story of child abuse.
Sometimes I wish that when I was 19 months old, I wish I'd never even survived. Maybe I wouldn't be where I am now.
Denise Gallison will candidly tell us the story of her life. It's a tragic story. We've simply attempted to piece together the facts. It would have been an unbelievable story if it wasn't all true.
Watch Denise Wednesday evening at 9 on TV 22.
Join Neil Sedaka, Andy Gibb, the Captain and Tennille, and Dara Sedaka for the Neil Sedaka Touch, Wednesday, October 1st at 8 p.m. here on Channel 22.
This is WEZF-TV, Burlington, still the one.